Part 28. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 273. Pattering. The day Pei Jingshu arrived in the capital was not a good day. The sky was overcast and it was drizzling. She needed to hold an umbrella when going out. It was very troublesome to get wet. The location of Gu Huiyan's apartment is not remote, but it is still a bit far away from where she works today. If she books a hotel, she can rest nearby after work, but she has to go to Gu Huiyan's apartment. This made Pei Ya a little irritable, and she complained many times along the way, saying, "What kind of good place can a man's house have to live in? How can it be better than our house?" Pei Jingshu didn't explain or even listen to her sister's nagging. She silently put on earplugs to keep her brain quiet. To be honest, she is still a little hesitant about suddenly raiding Gu Huiyan's apartment. "I was afraid that when I entered the room, just like what was said in the novel, I saw a pair of women's slippers, a women's toothbrush in the bathroom, and so on." But thinking about it, she thought it was impossible. She clearly remembered that Gu Huiyan was very calm when he gave her the address of his apartment, without any fear of being surprised. In the end, Pei Jingshu just looked at the rainy scene outside the window and shook her head gently. The dim light of the street lamp didn't look too bright in the night, but it just reflected Pei Jingshu's delicate and pretty face on the car window. His face is still the same as that of a shark capable of entertaining, but there is always a hint of worry between his brows. She always felt that she was overthinking, but many things seemed to be true. It was already late at night when we arrived at Gu Huiyan's house. It was raining and the road was difficult to walk. Pei Jingshu also needed someone to take care of her, to take off her makeup and take a rest. Pei Ya planned to take care of her or her assistant to at least remove her makeup and do some maintenance before leaving, but Pei Jingshu just silently took the suitcase over and refused their kindness. As for her boyfriend's house, she still wants to go alone. Pei Ya didn't say anything in the end. She still understood her sister quite well. She knew that her sister came to the capital today and stayed in Gu Huiyan's apartment for peace of mind. She just felt a little sad when she saw Pei Jingshu carrying an umbrella and carrying a suitcase into the corridor alone in the rain. Although Gu Huiyan was really nice to Pei Jingshu, she always felt that the old man was not worthy of her sister. She was not targeting Gu Huiyan. If it were any man, she would not feel worthy of Pei Jingshu. Click. Pei Jingshu went upstairs according to the floor number given by Gu Huiyan and swiped the password to enter the house. There is definitely no comparison between Gu Huiyan's apartment and her apartment in Shanghai. There are differences in both the smart home and the decoration inside. However, the privacy is quite good. At least Pei Jingshu didn't meet many people along the way. Several carloads of paparazzi who were following her in the community were also stopped outside. Ding. Turning on the lights and the air conditioner, Pei Jingshu had time to take a look at the place where Gu Huiyan lived. This is a small house of less than 160 square meters. The decoration of the living room and bedrooms are not the cool colors that are popular in modern times. Instead, they are warmer colors such as white and yellow. Even the floor tiles are of that cream color. White. Pei Jingshu remembered that Gu Huiyan said that he didn't like it to be too cold when living alone, and he liked to be warmer so that he could feel at home, so when the company selected several houses for him, he chose this one. Said. There was nothing much to say about the furniture. It looked like a very ordinary home. Pei Jingshu remembered that when she and Gu Huiyan returned to their hometown last year, his mother's house seemed to be like this. She didn't care about this. Instead, she walked back to the entrance and took a look. Apart from Gu Huiyan's own unique flip-flops, there were only a few pairs of disposable slippers for guests in the cabinet. After that, he relaxed a little. Then, she went to the two bathrooms, including the master bedroom bathroom, and checked to make sure there were no female products, and then she was completely relieved. When she returned to the sofa in the living room, She gently placed her two hands on her thighs below her hips, smoothed her skirt down her thighs and sat down. Then she raised her white neck to straighten her hair. Just now, he leaned lightly on the sofa cushion, pursed his lips slightly and relaxed. The home is very quiet except for Pei Jingshu. There is no one else. This environment is actually very unfamiliar to Pei Jingshu. Although it is better than a hotel, it is not luxurious. But for some reason, Pei Jingshu feels at ease here. Not only because this is her boyfriend's apartment, but also because it gives her a feeling, like a place where people live. It's really not very luxurious here, it doesn't even seem to have a cloakroom, but it has quite a sense of life. There were several washed fruits on the table, as well as a small half-pack of melon seeds and plums that had not been finished in time. There were some bagged snacks under the coffee table, the kind that Gu Huiyan often ate. The pots and pans in the kitchen look like they are frequently used. In fact, even if you go into the kitchen and smell the smell, you will know whether the family cooks frequently. There will definitely be oil fumes and dirty dishes in a kitchen where cooking is frequent. Wait for those mixed flavors. In the refrigerator, there are not many things to keep in the refrigerator. There are only a few green peppers, eggplants, and some fruits such as grapes, but they are probably a little wilted because they have been stored for a long time. There is also a bowl of cooked beef. Although it is sealed with plastic wrap, it seems to have been too long and it looks inedible. There will also be some iced drinks and so on. The thing Pei Jingshu sees most is Sprite. He really loves Xiaoxiu. When she saw this, Pei Jingshu couldn't help but cover her mouth and smile, thinking in her heart, she really deserves to be Gu Huiyan. As a king-level actor, there is a bowl in the refrigerator at home. This is incredible in the eyes of many celebrities, right? But she doesn't think this is an exaggeration. Only with a bowl can there be a sense of life. In fact, you can tell what kind of life a family leads by looking at their refrigerator. Just look inside Gu Huiyan's refrigerator. You can tell by looking at the family's lifestyle. I probably go out a lot, so there aren't many things in the refrigerator, but the frozen layers can really be described as luxurious. All kinds of fish, beef, ribs, pig's trotters, etc., a dazzling array. There are also some bags of chicken popcorn, flesh and bone chicken, and other things that can be fried and eaten. Several layers of meat alone are not enough. Not to mention there are several layers that he uses to store ice cream, crushed ice, and other snacks. It is worth mentioning that Pei Jingshu saw some black sausage in the refrigerator. When she first saw it, Pei Jingshu frowned subconsciously, because the shape and color of the thing were really not flattering. She even wondered for a moment why Gu Huiyan had hidden a few strips of asterisk in the refrigerator, and, I feel disgusting. Fortunately, I made a strategy in advance. When closing the refrigerator, Pei Jingshu ran to the sink to wash her hands. She smiled and was glad that she had searched online for what other people should see before coming. If she hadn't looked at the refrigerator and only looked at the superficial things, she really wouldn't have been able to understand what Gu Huiyan's daily life was like. I feel that his refrigerator must be as good as my own dressing room. This is the unique feature of the home. And just because I saw the dazzling array of things in the refrigerator, she couldn't help but think just now that Gu Huiyan should be very happy to eat and like to eat. He would definitely show off his spare money and free time in his mouth. That's the kind of person he is, and it really fits her image of him. And such a person who has some spare money and some free time to show off, what bad intentions can he have? He should be a very honest person, right? Before she came, she was worried whether she would see something she didn't want to see at Gu Huiyan's house. Facts have proved that she was really worrying too much. Not only did she not see what she didn't want to see, she was also surprised and reassured. At once. After visiting Gu Huiyan's house, Pei Jingshu felt that her uneasiness about Gu Huiyan was gone. In fact, these were not enough to dispel her doubts, but they made her trust Gu Huiyan. After all, what seemed to attract her in the first place was Gu Huiyan's life-oriented attitude. Sitting in the living room of Gu Huiyan's house, Pei Jingshu looked towards the kitchen, as if she could imagine Gu Huiyan wearing big pants and flip-flops, busy making dinner for herself. Strictly speaking, it was stew. She thought, would they have a day like this in the future? This place may not be as luxurious as your own apartment, but it really feels like home. Think about it for a moment. Pei Jingshu took out her mobile phone and planned to send a message to Gu Huiyan. Before posting, she looked at the time. It was already past 11 o'clock in the evening. It was hard to tell whether Gu Huiyan was still there at this time. She sent a message to Gu Huiyan saying, "Guess where I am now?" I don't know if it's a coincidence, but it was almost at the same time that she sent the message. Gu Huiyan also sent her a message. "Guess where I am now?" The two people arrived at each other's apartment at the same time and sent messages to each other at the same time. To be honest, if the messages sent by the two people were not the same, both Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu might have thought that there was a bug in the system. "You won't be at my house, will you?" Sitting in front of the dressing mirror in the luxurious dressing room of Pei Jingshu's apartment in Shanghai, Gu Huiyan casually played with a piece of Bulgari jewelry, not afraid that the big baby's nail cap would be broken. But Pei Jingshu also sent a message at the same time asking, "You're not going to be in my apartment, are you?" Gu Huiyan felt happy. What the hell, is this a coincidence? So Gu Huiyan immediately made a video call. Ding dong dong. After a while, the video was connected, and Pei Jingshu's beautiful face appeared in the video. Even the face-offending camera didn't make her face look ugly at all. Gu Huiyan could tell at a glance that the background behind her was in his apartment in the capital. "Why did you suddenly go there?" Gu Huiyan asked happily. To be honest, just now, after visiting Pei Jingshu's luxurious apartment, Gu Huiyan still felt a little bit behind. He was wondering whether his and Pei Jingshu's values were compatible with each other, compared with her apartment. "I wonder if my apartment will be very bad, if she won't be happy to go there, if she will feel a big gap after going there, etc." But who knew, just a few minutes later, he learned that Pei Jingshu had gone to his apartment. Just return. Quite a surprise. I also wanted to ask why you came to my place. Pei Jingshu pursed her lips and chuckled. To be honest, the tacit understanding between the two of them was really killing her. She felt that the phrase "guess where I am now" that they just sent simultaneously was very romantic. "I happened to be recording songs in Shanghai today, which is relatively close to here, and then I came over." Gu Huiyan made random nonsense, and when he asked Pei Jingshu also said that she came here because she was working nearby. But actually, both of these are specially adjusted to the past, okay. They all seem to understand the tacit understanding of each other, so neither of them exposed the other. Gu Huiyan carefully put the piece of jewelry he was playing with back into the box, stood up and walked around in Pei Jingshu's dressing room. He told her with some emotion, "I feel like your cloakroom can buy me." Pook. Pei Jingshu was amused and said, "If you were so cheap, I would definitely buy a few more." Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes and said, "Is this cheap? I'm not afraid to tell you the truth. When I first came in, it was like that country bumpkin entering the city or Grandmalu entering the Grand View Garden. Everything I saw was new, especially this cloakroom. I wondered where I had gone. Where's the brand store?" When chatting with Pei Jingshu, Gu Huiyan always spoke freely and was not afraid that Pei Jingshu would mind. The fact is that Pei Jingshu herself didn't mind. She just smiled and said, "Just pick whatever you like." Zun do fake do. Gu Huiyan was stunned. Every item in the cloakroom, even a bracelet, was worth a lot of money. How could Pei Jingshu be so generous? "It doesn't matter if you take them all." Unexpectedly, Pei Jingshu said this while dragging her cheeks with her hands. Why are you so generous? Gu Huiyan asked funnily. Pei Jingshu's pretty face was slightly red. She was in a good mood tonight. Before saying such words, she couldn't help but blush. She said, "Isn't mine, yours." No one really knows how damaging these words are to Gu Huiyan. Sometimes, Gu Huiyan always feels that Pei Jingshu is a very conservative girl, but she always says some very provocative but not disgusting love words. It makes people feel very itchy. Her speech really made people feel comfortable. It was obvious that the items in this cloakroom could buy several buildings together. It was obvious that the environment between her and Gu Huiyan was very different. It was obvious that there might even be a class gap between them. It was obvious that even Gu Huiyan I had doubted whether their values were compatible just now. But she didn't seem to care about those things at all. She felt to Gu Huiyan that none of these things were as important to her as Gu Huiyan. This makes people very comfortable. Forget it. Gu Huiyan waved his hands and said calmly. They are all ladies' clothes and bags, none of which I can use. Even if you give them to me, I can't use them. I was quite touched just now, but when this old man said these words, it was Pei Jingshu who couldn't help but have a disgusted expression on her delicate and pretty face. I want to say, can't you not say this when you are so moved? If I give it to you, it will make a lot of money if you sell it, okay? Of course, Pei Jingshu did not complain, she just had an idea flash in her mind and said, "Go to the right side of the dressing mirror and see if there is a jewelry box." Oh. Gu Huiyan didn't think much, thinking that Pei Jingshu wanted him to show off something. When she found the jewelry box, Pei Jingshu said again, "Open the third floor and see if there is a blue box on the right." Good. Gu Huiyan actually found a blue box, and he opened it without waiting for Pei Jingshu to say anything. To his slight surprise, there was a men's bracelet in the box. The workmanship of this bracelet is quite detailed. The brand logo on the box seems to be a big international brand. It is worth mentioning that there seem to be 2 bracelets in the box, but now one is missing. Put it on and see if it looks good. Pei Jingshu gently shook her right hand in front of the camera. There was a bracelet on it that was exactly the same as this one. Couple style. No need to explain, right? No matter how stupid Gu Huiyan was, he could still see that Pei Jingshu wanted to give this bracelet to him. Have you prepared this for a long time? Gu Huiyan was not pretentious at all. He chuckled and took out the bracelet and put it on his left hand, for men on the left and women on the right. Don't tell me, it's pretty good looking. Gu Huiyan usually doesn't have any decorations on his body. Many successful people wear watches, but he doesn't have that habit. Unless he is attending an event and needs to wear brand jewelry for advertising, he usually doesn't wear anything. Pei Jingshu nodded gently and said, "I planned to bring it to you when I went to Hainan, but I was a little anxious and forgot to take it." She had to take a lot of things with her when she went out, and most of the time she would ask her assistant to pick them up. But she didn't want her assistant to help her get something like this for her boyfriend, so she just wanted to remember it by herself. Who knows? I got used to asking my assistant to help me, so I forgot about it. Nice. After Gu Huiyan put it on and waved it in front of the camera, Pei Jingshu laughed softly. As long as you like it? Compared with whether he is well or not, Gu Huiyan is more concerned about one thing. Is this expensive? He asked. It's okay. Pei Jingshu did not say the specific value. Gu Huiyan didn't feel comfortable asking how much it cost. It felt a bit vulgar, so he used another mobile phone to check the brand and then the price of the bracelet. Good guy, you won't know until you look at it, but you will be shocked when you look at it. 2 bracelets cost more than 128,000. How dare you sell it at this price? It's not worth the money if it's made entirely of gold and diamonds, right? Pei Jingshu. After reading it, Gu Huiyan stared at Pei Jingshu in the camera with a pair of pure 24K titanium alloy eyes, and said, "Do you know that I have had a bad stomach since I was a kid?" Pei Jingshu frowned slightly and subconsciously said, "I don't know, how could you?" She originally wanted to say what's going on with you and to take care of you, but Gu Huiyan, the old man, turned around and said, "I went to see a doctor some time ago, and the doctor told me that I should eat something soft." When she first heard him say that he went to see a doctor, Pei Jingshu was startled and wanted to say what was wrong, so she went to see a doctor, but as soon as the next sentence came out, "Next to me was Pei Jingshu," who couldn't help but turn her head and giggle. Then she rolled her eyes at Gu Huiyan and said in a teasing way, "Soft rice man. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth." Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 274. To be honest, I don't eat much every day. I like to eat some snacks at most. If I really want to eat soft food, make a rich woman happy, and listen to people, I actually suffer a lot. When Pei Jingshu called him a soft rice man, instead of being angry, Gu Huiyan started teasing him. As a rich woman, Pei Jingshu giggled and said that you really seem to have a face that can be eaten by others. Although Gu Huiyan is usually a villager and doesn't like makeup or dressing up, he actually has a pretty good foundation. As long as he dresses up seriously and does a little Korean-style semi-permanent or something, he will be a proper little girl. How good is it? You are committing a personal attack. Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes. Pei Jingshu didn't care at all, and instead smiled and said, "Then don't go out to work in the future, let me take care of you." If Pei Ya hears this, she will definitely scold her. Even if our family recruits a wife, this is not the way to go. Then will I have no family status? Gu Huiyan sat on a wheelchair next to the dressing mirror, probably where the makeup artist sat, turning back and forth and asking teasingly, Pei Jingshu was non-committal, with a rare hint of arrogance on her delicate and pretty face, and she said, "You don't want to do anything, but you still want to have family status. How do you think so beautifully? Then I'd better go to work." Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes, but Pei Jingshu smiled and said, "You don't think that your family status will be higher if you work, do you?" Ah! Gu Huiyan stared at that moment. Hey, you don't give human rights, you don't let people live. Giggle. Pei Jingshu giggled, feeling that it was quite fun to tease Gu Huiyan occasionally. She always enjoyed the scenes of two people flirting and flirting. She felt that they rarely had such scenes, and because of the feeling at this moment, she felt that she should not have doubted Gu Huiyan before. At this time, Gu Huiyan was sitting on the small chair with wheels and moving around. It was just right that the camera turned to a certain place. When the camera shined there, Pei Jingshu's pupils shrank slightly, her delicate and pretty face feeling a little weird. She blushed slightly, coughed slightly, and tried her best to stay calm and said, "Have you seen the cloakroom? They must have all looked over." Gu Huiyan looked around at the rather large cloakroom. He had been here for a while. Although he was not the kind of person who had short hands and didn't like to touch everything, he had almost looked over. Hearing this, Pei Jingshu in the camera didn't know what she was thinking of. Her pretty fair face began to turn crimson, and even her face looked a little abnormal. "Then, you saw it there too?" she asked tentatively. "There? Where?" Gu Huiyan scratched his head. Even a foreigner might not be able to understand what he said. "Ah no. Nowhere, no." Seeing Gu Huiyan's reaction, Pei Jingshu knew that he definitely didn't notice, and she breathed a sigh of relief in her heart. She became less embarrassed and waved her hands to say no. But her behavior aroused Gu Huiyan's curiosity. "Is there anything else here that I haven't discovered?" Gu Huiyan couldn't help but stood up with his cell phone and started walking around the cloakroom again. This cloakroom is very luxurious. Because he is afraid of breaking things, Gu Huiyan doesn't dare to touch anything, especially the place where clothes are hung. For example, there are some evening gowns wrapped in plastic bags hanging on the north side. Go, on the one hand, he is not very interested in the dresses of female celebrities, on the other hand. They're all women's clothes and he can't wear them. Are you just looking at him? When Pei Jingshu said this, he felt that he was not shopping carefully enough, so he walked around again. Hey, don't. Pei Jingshu still wanted to stop him. If she had been there, she would have tried her best to pull Gu Huiyan out to prevent him from continuing to explore, but who told her to be far away in the capital? They were only talking on video. Don't look at it, it's really nothing. You've already looked at these things, what are you looking for? No. Really no more. Can you just think I'm begging you? Stop looking. Pei Jingshu had never begged anyone in her whole life, but today she begged Gu Huiyan, begging him not to look any further. But the more she behaved like this, the stronger Gu Huiyan's curiosity became, and the more he wanted to find out the places that she didn't want to show him or was embarrassed to show him. Throughout the whole process, this old man pretended not to hear Pei Jingshu's begging and continued to wander around. Don't say it. I really asked this old man to find a door behind the haute couture evening dress in the north, which was not very eye-catching. Even the door handle was covered by clothes. Secret door. What is this for? When Gu Huiyan pointed the camera at the secret door, Pei Jingshu was so ashamed that she wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl in. She said in a decibel that did not belong to her, almost like shouting. Don't go in. Don't. Gu Huiyan is a standard curious baby. This kid has a traitorous nature. The less Pei Jingshu wants him to go in, the more he wants to go in. Of course, he still had to torture Pei Jingshu before going in. He smiled and said, "No, what is inside? Are you like this?" "No. Nothing." Pei Jingshu waved her hands repeatedly. To be honest, if she was that close now, she would have gone downstairs to kill him without stopping. Even now, she really wanted to get through the screen and stop Gu Huiyan from opening the door. "Isn't there someone hiding in here?" Gu Huiyan was still teasing. "How can it be?" Pei Jingshu didn't feel guilty at all about this. She even wanted to say something harsh to Gu Huiyan. What did she say? Gu Huiyan must believe her. He just wanted to stir up trouble. He asked again. "Then there aren't any toys in here?" When he said toy, his tone was very serious, as if it was some kind of hint. Pei Jingshu didn't know what she thought of when she heard this, and her pretty face was as red as if it was about to boil. "What are you talking about? What a toy, who do you think I am?" To be honest, Pei Jingshu is really well educated, and she doesn't even curse at others. If this were Shang Zuoyan, 18 generations of the Gu Huiyan family would have to be scolded all over the place, right? "Who do you think you are?" Gu Huiyan still pretended to be stupid and said. "I thought you still had a childish innocence and kept a toy room with some Barbie dolls and the like. What's wrong? You." Pei Jingshu's pretty face flushed with embarrassment, and she rarely said something unpleasant. "Scoundrel, you know what you are talking about." "What kind of duck am I talking about?" "Ha ha." Gu Huiyan was so old that Pei Jingshu was so angry that she wanted to beat him. Really, the more she got to know him, the more she felt that Gu Huiyan was good, bad, and a scoundrel. After the laughter, Gu Huiyan stopped teasing Pei Jingshu and just asked with a smile. "Then since you didn't put anything shameful, why do you act like a thief and don't want me to see it?" Gu Huiyan scratched his head, looking depressed. "No. I'm not letting you see it, it's just." Pei Jingshu still wanted to find an excuse to explain, but sometimes the description became darker and darker, not to mention that it was not easy to explain this kind of thing. Fortunately, at this moment, Gu Huiyan said with a smile. "Okay, I'll give you face and I won't open it." As he spoke, he removed his hand from the doorknob. Call. Seeing this scene, Pei Jingshu breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that Gu Huayan was a bit weird. But before she could say thank you to Gu Huayan, the old man suddenly turned around and pushed the secret door open with a click. Ah! At that time, Pei Jingshu couldn't help shouting. Not only was she shocked, but she was also so ashamed that she died. Okay. Ha ha ha, what is it that makes you? Gu Huayan laughed and pointed his cell phone lens at the things in the room. At first he didn't take it seriously and didn't guess what it was, but until he saw the room full of underwear. At that time, his voice stopped suddenly, and the expression on his face became a little dull. To be honest, Gu Huayan has never seen so many women's underwear. There are so many styles and a dazzling array. They are all hung up, like a lingerie store outside. There are also socks in various styles, but without the silk stockings that Gu Huayan imagined, Pei Jingshu would definitely not wear them. It is normal not to have them at home. Sister Xylan probably only has these in her dressing room. Before, Gu Huayan was wondering why he didn't even see any underwear at Pei Jingshu's house, and it was such a fuss for so long. It's all concentrated here. Ah! Although she didn't hang up the call, Pei Jingshu had disappeared from Gu Huayan's lens at this time. She was so embarrassed that she didn't know how to talk to Gu Huayan. She told this guy not to open the door or open the door. He had to listen, he really. So bad. Girls also have their own private places. This is a place where they keep their personal clothes. If it's the first time for a boyfriend to go there, how can I be so embarrassed to let him see it? Wow. In comparison, Gu Huayan didn't take it seriously. The old lady didn't even notice that Pei Jingshu was out of the frame. Instead, he began to appreciate the beautiful scenery in the room. Get out. Pei Jingshu was already slapping the table and stamping her feet. Even if she was not in front of the camera, she was still looking at the screen of her mobile phone. In fact, she was already a little desperate and regretted why she asked Gu Huayan if he had come here. If she hadn't asked, Gu Huayan wouldn't have gone around again to find the secret door. Her intestines are so full of regret, okay. She is so ashamed now that she wishes she could live on another planet. How can these things be shown to outsiders? Her boyfriend is fine, but she must be mentally prepared, okay. No, are you concerned? Gu Huayan didn't even look at his phone. While visiting, he told Pei Jingshu in a funny way. At worst, you can go look in the cabinet in my bedroom. Who wants to see you? Pei Jingshu made the scoundrel laugh angrily. Who among the girls would be interested in boys' underwear? What's there to be ashamed of? Gu Huayan also scratched his head and started to feel silly. Maybe such a place is indeed a bit shameful for Pei Jingshu, and it is indeed not allowed to be seen by outsiders, but he is Pei Jingshu's boyfriend. Not to mention looking at a room like this, he has already seen Pei Jingshu without clothes. I don't want to care about you. Pei Jingshu simply stopped talking, being left speechless by Gu Huayan. Of course, Gu Huayan didn't go too far. He laughed and watched for a while before going out. He also asked Pei Jingshu, "Have you eaten?" Without. Pei Jingshu shook her head slightly and asked, "Have you got a meal yet?" "I do not have either." Gu Huayan shook his head and hurried to record songs as soon as he landed in the afternoon. He hurried here after work. He originally thought of ordering takeout later, but... And do you feel like ordering takeout in a luxury house like Pei Jingshu would be a bit of a loss? Pook. When she told Pei Jingshu this idea, she giggled and said, "It's okay, just order. You don't have to clean up after eating. The cleaning staff will clean it up." Gu Huayan scratched his head and did not make a decision immediately. Instead, he asked, "Do you have any ingredients at home?" "No, I'll make some myself." With that said, he ran to the refrigerator, opened it and found that there was nothing inside. At most, there were some water, fruit, yogurt, and other such things. The frozen one is no different from the empty one, there is nothing there. There aren't even any eggs in the refrigerator, let alone meat. I'm quite busy at work, so I don't go there often. When I do, I always order takeout, so I don't have much food at home. Pei Jingshu finally made a rare return to inside the box. She actually knows how to cook. She showed off her skills by cooking vegetables before in Crystal Love season, but she was too busy and had no time to cook. Gu Huiyan scratched his head and said, "So it's some noodles or something, right?" Gu Huiyan turned around and ran to the kitchen, thinking that even if there was no instant noodles, he would at least have some noodles. He could make a meal with clear soup noodles and sprinkle some soy sauce. As a result, I went in and walked around, and found that the kitchen was just like a new one that had not been opened. It was clean and there was nothing in it. Hug, sorry. Pei Jingshu said, a little embarrassed. I'll help you order the delivery downstairs, just wait. She was also decisive and didn't even wait for Gu Huiyan to refuse. It feels like her and Gu Huiyan's lifestyles are really different. Gu Huiyan is really the kind of person who always has something to eat in the refrigerator even if she is very busy and doesn't go back often. And even if she lived at home, she would either order takeout or have a nutritionist prepare it. Alright. Gu Huiyan also noticed this, and returned to the sofa in the living room with a wry smile to sit down. Sure enough, he couldn't compare his lifestyle with Pei Jingshu's. Then what do you want to eat? I'll order some for you too. Gu Huiyan was still thinking that since Pei Jingshu ordered it for him, he should also help Pei Jingshu order it. But who knew that after Pei Jingshu pondered for a moment, she actually said, I see you have a lot of stuff in the refrigerator, why don't I make some myself? After hearing this, Gu Huiyan couldn't help grinning and said, although you are good at boiling water, to be honest, if you do anything else, I am really afraid that you will burn down my kitchen. Who are you looking down on? Pei Jingshu rolled her eyes at Gu Huiyan, but Gu Huiyan didn't refute, just said, I will cook whatever you want to eat from now on. Are your hands good at cooking? Pei Jingshu smiled shyly after hearing this. She always liked hearing this kind of words. However, she is not very willing to admit defeat. She said, then your hands are still for playing guitar and piano, let alone cooking. This. Gu Huiyan didn't know how to refute for a while. Pei Jingshu smiled and said, okay, don't worry, it's not like I can't do it. While she was talking, she actually ran to the kitchen to get something. At this time, she didn't plan to make any complicated dishes, she just wanted to cook some noodles. Gu Huiyan's family has instant noodles that come in many flavors. Pei Jingshu easily found a pack of tomato-flavored instant noodles. Let me show it to you. Gu Huiyan really didn't trust her to be alone. Pei Jingshu was like a princess. Gu Huiyan always felt that her family was well off and she had never touched Yangchun water since she was a child. Not to mention cooking, she might even have trouble washing dishes. This old six has completely forgotten about Pei Jingshu cooking in Crystal Love season. The fact is indeed quite shocking. Not only does Pei Jingshu know how to cook it, she can also cook it decently. Gu Huiyan had fish balls, pissed beef balls, and the like in the refrigerator, and asked her to throw a few in. A bowl of instant noodles cooked like Odin, which he usually ate like this anyway. There are sausages in the refrigerator that were left uneaten in the winter at home. Pei Jingshu steamed a few and cut them into a plate. She is always excellent and does pretty well in everything she does. Rich lady. Just as she was finishing cooking the noodles, the delivery order for Gu Huiyan also arrived. There were quite a lot of things to order, including bullfrog, crayfish, sheep and scorpion, they were all big dishes. You think I'm not fat, right? Gu Huiyan said with a wry smile. Pei Jingshu just said that she felt that he would like to eat these. Don't tell me that Gu Huiyan really likes to eat, but he said that these things are suitable for drinking, not suitable for dry eating. Pei Jingshu also said that there is red wine at home, you can look for it. She really regards Gu Huiyan's family as her own home, and her own home as Gu Huiyan's family. This made Gu Huiyan feel quite warm. He felt that even though the living environment of the two of them was different, Pei Jingshu didn't care at all. She was completely adaptable to the two lifestyles in the home, and she didn't feel any disobedience at all. While he was eating a big meal and looking at Pei Jingshu who was eating noodles, Gu Huiyan felt that their lives had been exchanged, just like they had exchanged lives. Pei Jingshu. Gu Huiyan called Pei Jingshu's name. When Pei Jingshu raised her eyes from the camera and looked over, Gu Huiyan smiled slightly and said, "I feel like you're not that difficult to take care of." When visiting Pei Jingshu's home, she gave Gu Huiyan a feeling of very expensive. She felt that the daily expenses of being with her would be huge in the future. If he wasn't a front-line person, he really wouldn't deserve to be with her. But Pei Jingshu used her actual actions to give him the feeling that she was not so difficult to support, not so expensive, and not picky about the differences in their environments. It turns out that she also eats instant noodles that she cooks for a few yuan. It turns out that she can live the same life as herself. Having said that, Gu Huiyan is not stupid enough to think that Pei Jingshu should live such a life. She can live it, but she definitely shouldn't live it. She deserves the best life in the world. At this moment, Gu Huiyan was thinking that even if his ideas and values were different, the life he would give Pei Jingshu in the future must be the best. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 275. Gu Huiyan suddenly said a little seriously, "I don't think you are that easy to raise," and Pei Jingshu was a little stunned. She held a piece of noodles between her chopsticks and let it cool down but did not put it into the mouth of the cherry. Pei Jingshu gently put down the chopsticks and let the black hair fall from her temples. She dragged her fragrant cheeks with her delicate hands and looked at Gu Huiyan on the other side of the camera, her face flushed. Face said in a slightly teasing tone. "Then, if you marry a chicken, follow the chicken, if you marry a dog, follow the dog." As soon as these words came out, Gu Huiyan. At that time, Gu Huiyan had a black question mark on his head. What kind of words is this? You've really learned badly from Pei Jingshu recently. Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes silently, while Pei Jingshu giggled and felt very happy. To put it bluntly, it seems that since falling in love with Gu Huiyan, Pei Jingshu has become more lively. A cold beauty in the past can now say that. How can you protect the whole world if you protect me? In this case. At that time, when Pei Jingshu mentioned this joke on a Good Life match, it was also on the hot search. Do you know what netizens thought of her at that time? They said, "I told you not to play with Gu Huiyan, but you just didn't listen." Everyone is saying that Sister Pei was led astray by Gu Lalu. But in reality, Gu Huiyan really didn't teach her much, did he? Gu Huiyan was still wronged. It had been a long time since they had seen each other. Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu had a space dinner together. They might have eaten different things, and they couldn't smell each other's food, but they both felt that warm feeling. Can feel it. They can also see the affection in each other's eyes. After dinner, it was getting late. Gu Huiyan was sleepy and wanted to go to bed. He still had some finishing work to do tomorrow morning. He had to fly to Hainan to record Hello Life Partner in the afternoon, so he was very busy. Before going to bed, he wanted to take a bath, but he just walked around the bathroom of Pei Jingshu's house and found that many things were not very useful. The various things in her house were indeed too avant-garde. He also happened to have a video chat with Pei Jingshu, so Gu Huiyan planned to ask her. Her bathroom is quite large, with a large bathtub in it. Pei Jingshu said that no one has used this bathtub except her. Cleaning staff come to clean it regularly, so it is very clean and Gu Huiyan can use it with confidence. She also told Gu Huiyan that there were bath balls, flower petals, etc. in the cabinet next to her, so that Gu Huiyan could throw a few in. Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes. I'm a man who wants to take a bath with flower petals. Should I get some milk and make a milk bath? These words already made Pei Jingshu giggle. Gu Huiyan turned around and said again. Do you think I am Shizuka's green tea? Pei Jingshu smiled so hard that she couldn't even lift her head. She couldn't help but give him a thumbs up and said. You are indeed a loyal Doraemon fan. It must. Gu Huiyan was not afraid of admitting it at all. Pei Jingshu carefully told Gu Huiyan where bath towels, slippers and other items were kept and how to use each item. She was very patient and did not feel that there was any shame in Gu Huiyan not knowing how to use it. Gu Huiyan, the old man, was very carefree. He found slippers and a towel and went in to take a bath. However, he didn't use the bathtub. Pei Jingshu asked why not, as it would be very relaxing to take a bath. Gu Huiyan said. I feel like two people should soak in such a big bathtub together. It would be a waste if one person soaks in it alone. Conscience, he said this without any evil intentions at all. He really just felt that the bathtub was so big that a boy of 1.8 meters tall could fully stretch it out, and it would be a waste to put so many water monsters in it. He also doesn't have the habit of taking a bath. But when Pei Jingshu heard these words, it had a different flavor. Her pretty face flushed, she rolled her eyes at Gu Huiyan and said. I don't know what to think about all day long. Huh? What was I thinking? Gu Huiyan had already reached the bathroom and took off his shirt. Ah! Pei Jingshu subconsciously covered her eyes and said. Why, you took off your clothes all of a sudden. Then I can take a shower without taking off my clothes. Gu Huiyan was so happy that he couldn't help complaining. No, you haven't seen it before. Are you making such a fuss? Gu Huiyan is actually a relatively open-minded person. When he was at home in the summer and it was very hot, he would often go shirtless, especially when he went out to eat and drink. During that season, if you just look around the streets, you would see shirtless people bragging. Of. A grown man is shirtless and why is he afraid of being seen? Gu Huiyan is always puzzled that you said he has slept with Pei Jingshu several times. Although he has never taken that step, he doesn't want to scream even though he is naked, right? You. Pei Jingshu did not refute it in the end, and her beautiful face was always a little blushing. If you want to take a shower, then, just hang up first. I will also. Pei Jingshu also wanted to say that I was going to take a shower, but seeing her caring about Huiyan like that suddenly felt a little bit evil. He chuckled and said. Hey, why don't we turn off the video and leave it on? Ah. Pei Jingshu was stunned for a moment. Her pretty face, which was already blushing, was now so red that it looked like it could bleed. Her skin is very white, even when she is blushing through the video, it is particularly obvious. At this time, Pei Jingshu's expression was a little dull. She never thought that Gu Huiyan would make such a request. What are you thinking? Just the thought of taking off her clothes and taking a shower in front of the phone camera and the person opposite, Pei Jingshu couldn't agree to it. Please. She is a female star. Domestic entertainment has tens of millions of fans and is a top-tier entertainment company. She is not an internet celebrity, not an anchor, does not do live broadcasts, let alone this kind of sensitive live broadcast. What did Gu Huiyan take her for? Sometimes it's not her fault for being bad, it's mainly because Gu Huiyan always wants to lead her into bad ways. Some people always say that she follows her husband and her wife follows her husband. She wants to follow Gu Huiyan in everything he does. She rarely refuses anything Gu Huiyan asks her to do. But she really can't do those things that make her so embarrassed that she wants to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. Okay. Ah, okay, just a joke. Gu Huiyan laughed and let it go. He wanted to have some fun, but Pei Jingshu was too conservative. She was not even conservative like a girl of this era. With her like this, Gu Huiyan always wanted to tease her, but he couldn't bear to force her. The shirtless Gu Huiyan chatted a few more words with Pei Jingshu, and the topic they talked about was actually a bit private. Pei Jingshu curiously asked Gu Huiyan that she had heard a saying before. A man wears a handkerchief and wipes it from head to crotch. Is this true? Gu Huiyan lowered his head and glanced at the towel he only had. His face turned red and he immediately grabbed a bath towel and said, "How can it be?" He successfully made Pei Jingshu laugh, and her delicate body trembled with laughter. "Okay, then I'm going to take a shower, and let's." After chatting for a while, his shirtless body felt a little cold, so Gu Huiyan stopped talking and wanted to hang up the phone and take a shower. "Hey, wait a minute." Pei Jingshu suddenly stopped him again. "What's wrong? Is there anything you want to say tonight?" Gu Huiyan frowned. Pei Jingshu was usually very straightforward and would hang up the phone sensibly when she knew he was about to take a shower. But today she was always procrastinating and didn't know what was going on. Gu Huiyan felt that something might be wrong with her. "Well, it's nothing, just..." Pei Jingshu hesitated, and after a while, she finally asked as if she mustered up the courage. "Have you been playing games in the past few days? It's the one you often played before." "Ah." Gu Huiyan was stunned for a moment, not realizing what Pei Jingshu meant, but soon. Walk. He felt a thump in his heart. Could it be that Pei Jingshu found out about playing games with Shang Zuoyan these days? This was not because Gu Huiyan was careless, but mainly because he really didn't think that Pei Jingshu would be the kind of person to play games. Even though he had taught her how to play King of Fighting Princess Fifa before, he didn't think that she would normally play games. Furthermore, if Shang Zuoyan's Q Pei Jingshu didn't exist, how could she know that Shang Zuoyan was playing games with Gu Huiyan? But who knew that she would ask such a question tonight, which was beyond Gu Huiyan's expectations? For a moment, Gu Huiyan was really flustered and didn't really know how to answer. "Are you saying you feel guilty?" "Not that." Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan were just playing a game. In reality, they had never met each other and had no shady relationship. Why did they feel guilty? Only. You play games with other girls behind your girlfriend's back, and this girl is Shang Zuoyan. No matter how you say this, it's not good. Let alone Pei Jingshu, everyone on the internet knows that Shang Zuoyan liked Gu Huiyan. Now, no matter what the two of them do together behind Pei Jingshu's back, it will easily be misunderstood, right? While Gu Huiyan was stunned, Pei Jingshu continued. "I just finished work and logged in once that day, and then I happened to see you online. Don't misunderstand me. I didn't suspect you of anything. I was just, well, you think I was jealous, so." In fact, Pei Jingshu didn't plan to ask this question tonight. The feeling Gu Huiyan gave her tonight made her feel reassured, but some things are like thorns. If you don't ask, the thorn will not go down, making you feel uncomfortable when eating or drinking. Like a lump in the throat, like a thorn in the back. Pei Jingshu is not the kind of person who likes to hold it in. She knows that if she holds it in too much, big problems will arise, so it is better to ask directly. It was probably because Gu Huiyan made her feel at ease tonight. She was afraid that Gu Huiyan would think she doubted him, so she specially added the sentence. One of the funny things is that the person who asked the question was quite guilty. If those little fairies saw Pei Jingshu like this, they would definitely call her love-brained. When encountering such a thing, the fairies would definitely question her from the moral high ground without caring about the feelings of the other party. It's not that I'm not playing. Gu Huiyan's expression was actually a bit unnatural, but Pei Jingshu didn't seem to notice. The old man told the lie subconsciously, really subconsciously. At this moment, his mind was confused. He really didn't expect Pei Jingshu to ask such a question. For a moment, he thought about explaining it to Pei Jingshu honestly, but do you think he told Pei Jingshu that he was playing games with Shang Zuoyan these days? Can Pei Jingshu really being considerate and understanding, even saying the last sentence? You guys can play, it's okay with me. Is it possible? Is this realistic? Any girl, no matter what girl, unless she doesn't like you or loves you, she will never accept her boyfriend playing games, going out alone, or eating alone with girls other than family members. No matter how considerate Pei Jingshu is, she can't accept it. Not to mention, that girl is Shang Zuoyan. She will ask, showing that she cares. Since she cares, Gu Huiyan can't tell the truth. His eyes wandered and he said casually. Aren't you busy filming recently? How can you have time to play games? Oh yes, a friend lent me my number 2 days ago. He must be playing. Pei Jingshu didn't look at the phone screen carefully. She was very funny. Because the question was a bit false and she was afraid that Gu Huiyan would think she didn't trust him, so she didn't even look at Gu Huiyan's expression carefully. In fact, she shouldn't ask. Look. When Gu Huiyan said it, she didn't refute, she just nodded lightly and said with a smile. I knew it was. Since she had chosen to believe Gu Huiyan from the beginning, she shouldn't have asked. Why did you suddenly get into the game? I thought you didn't like playing. Gu Huiyan tried to change the subject. I just thought of it by chance. Pei Jingshu was embarrassed to say that she wanted to find something in common with Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan was happy after hearing this and said. So how is your practice going, Princess Fi Fei? After hearing this, Pei Jingshu frowned and said. How can anyone let a girl play that kind of hero? Hey, what's wrong with Princess Fi Fei? Isn't she better than those bastards? I don't understand, but I don't understand. I'm telling you this. Gu Huiyan began to brainwash Pei Jingshu. To be honest, if Pei Jingshu's fans knew that Gu Huiyan taught her to play games with Zhang Fei, they would definitely scold him. I have to say that he changed the topic very successfully. After a few words, Pei Jingshu forgot why she started talking about this topic. Okay, I'm going to take a shower first. It doesn't matter what time it is. You should take a shower and go to bed quickly. After chatting for a few more words, Gu Huiyan made an excuse to hang up the phone. Good. Pei Jingshu lightly covered her red lips with her hands, yawned, and didn't ask again. It was indeed getting late, it was already late at night. The conversation between the two ended here. Call. It wasn't until he hung up the phone that Gu Huiyan breathed a sigh of relief. In the bathroom of Pei Jingshu's apartment, a shirtless Gu Huiyan stood in front of the mirror. There was no panic on the face reflected in the mirror, but this was just the panic in his heart that did not show up. Should I say it or not, this seems to be not the first time Pei Jingshu has asked similar questions. She also asked about the strawberry print last time. Fortunately, both times were near misses, and it just passed. To be honest, Gu Huiyan didn't know why he felt guilty or why he lied. He and Shang Zuoyan were clearly innocent and had nothing so far. Why did it always seem like he was cheating on her outside? He is indeed not the kind of male protagonist in a scumbag novel, and he really cannot adapt to being a scumbag without any sense of guilt. Gu Huiyan thought that he should be more careful in the future and try not to associate with other girls, especially Shang Zuoyan, otherwise it would be really easy for problems to arise. Sometimes, even if you do nothing, Just a misunderstanding can send you into a place of eternal destruction. Gu Huiyan was still thinking this just now, but soon. Walk, that's not right. He quickly thought that if he went to record Hello Life Partner tomorrow, he would be in the same frame as Shang Xueyan. This matter is not a rare thing. Shang Xueyan's team has released the news. We have also talked about this topic while playing games and chatting in the past few days. The three teammates are here, and Gu Huiyan is also there. Whether it is merging with the teammates or their dead android CP, these are all gimmicks, not to mention Shang Xueyan's traffic is also very high. Why doesn't she become a flying guest? Woolen cloth? This gave Gu Huiyan a bit of a headache. We were just suspected and will be in the same frame tomorrow. Isn't this causing trouble? Have no choice. Gu Huiyan had no choice but to send a temporary message to Pei Jingshu, talking about the meeting tomorrow, specifically stating that he was afraid that Pei Jingshu would misunderstand, so he told her in advance. Probably because she just asked about playing games, Pei Jingshu tonight was not very suspicious of Gu Huiyan, and Gu Huiyan took the initiative to confess that not only did she not care, but she was quite moved by his consciousness. Just say. Just pay attention to your own propriety. Gu Huiyan breathed a sigh of relief. All in all, try to keep a distance from Shang Xueyan in front of the camera, otherwise, let alone what Pei Jingshu thinks after seeing it, netizens and fans will not be able to get over it seeing that they are getting closer. After all, he is a man with a girlfriend. But when he thinks of Shang Xueyan, Gu Huiyan has a headache. We've been playing games together these past few days. Although Shang Xueyan acted as if she had adjusted and everything was normal, Gu Huiyan always felt that something was not right with her. Gu Huiyan had met Shang Xueyan in his heyday. When recording Crystal Love Season, it seemed that he could hear her silvery smile every day, so he knew very well what the difference was between Shang Xueyan now and before. She used to be like a little sun that would illuminate everyone. Now this little sun either doesn't shine anymore, or it gives people a feeling that it's out of power, has no energy, and can't emit light. When many netizens compare photos of some people from many years ago with current photos, they often say that they have no light in their eyes or something like that. It's not that they have no light in their eyes, but that they have experienced too many things and gradually become noisy. Trivial things will cover up the light in your eyes. Everyone is born carefree, but this world is very realistic and will always teach you a lot of truths in a very cruel way. Once you have experienced some things, it will be difficult for people to change back to the past. Changes in eyes also reflect a person's growth. But to be honest, Gu Huiyan didn't think Shang Xueyan's words were growth. He still likes her the way she was before. The program team has booked morning air tickets for the rest of the guests tomorrow. Several people in the same city are basically on the same flight. Gu Huiyan has to be delayed due to work reasons and will not arrive until almost evening. Although they are all in Shanghai, they still can't get there. There is no way to go with them. Gu Huiyan was not worried about Shang Xueyan, so he asked the program crew who she was on the same flight with. After learning that it was Sister Zhang Yao, he sent a message to Sister Zhang Yao, saying that they were on the same flight and asked her to take care of her. Let's talk about Shang Xueyan. Zhang Yao and Shang Xueyan are acquaintances. Shang Xueyan is very popular in the industry. As for the guests on Hello Life Match, there is no one whom Shang does not recognize. Where has she been before? They are always at home, not to mention she has 3 teammates on this show. After receiving the news, Zhang Yao was surprised and funny. She was surprised that he would be worried about a social expert like Shang Xueyan, but she also laughed at him and said, "Why do you feel like you are the same as Twigo? Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth." Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 276. It was already the night of the second day when Gu Huiyan arrived in Hainan. The gathering place set by the program crew for the guests was still at the resort. I don't know if it was a coincidence, but when Gu Huiyan arrived, they had just finished their dinner party. A group of people get together and basically just eat and drink. Teacher Gu, you are so busy. Why are you here now? I haven't seen you in the 2 dinner parties. Su Xiun looked like she had drunk a little too much, her pretty face was red, and when she came to Gu Huiyan, it was as if her bones had suddenly disappeared, and her whole body was about to fall on Gu Huiyan. Hey, be careful. Fortunately, Gu Huiyan has quick eyesight and quick hands. He dodged immediately. This is another price. It turns out that Su Xiun didn't really drink too much, at least she didn't hit the ground. The other people seemed to have drunk a lot. The 3 men were still sober, but they made a shooting motion before taking 3 or 2 steps. I don't know how bad they were. I don't know how much these people drank, but Gu Huiyan said that they were not afraid of delaying the recording of tomorrow's program. The most troublesome thing for Gu Huiyan was that Sister Zhang Yao also drank too much. She also wanted to ask Zhang Yao where Shang Zuoyan was. He searched for a long time but couldn't find anyone. As a result, Sister Zhang Yao was drunk and looked at Zi's small body. He almost couldn't hold her back. Well, Gu Huiyan had a headache and felt that he shouldn't have come. Brother Huiyan. At this time, the little clip Shen Qingqing appeared out of nowhere, imitating Su Xiun's behavior, looking boneless and about to fall on Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan was so speechless by this group of soft bone charm rabbits. MD, you spider spirits wouldn't do it in such an obvious way even if they wanted to eat Tang Monk's meat, right? Don't be afraid that Tang Monk will run away. And just when Shen Qingqing was about to meet Gu Huiyan, and when Gu Huiyan was about to use his physical fighting skills again. Qingqing, be careful if you drink too much. A very familiar voice sounded in Gu Huiyan's ears, and what was even more familiar was the fragrance that belonged to Shang Zuoyan. Unlike other female celebrities who liked elegance, she preferred perfume with a strong smell, which could often be smelled from a distance. The smell of her perfume. Of course, it may be that there are too many hairs, so let's smell it. Charlene Shang is truly a female star who is known as living into the look that all girls long for. When she lost weight, she not only lost the excess fat on her body, but also lost her so-called buttocks. The 2 brothers Seong Dakshin, neither of them even lost weight due to hunger. The most important thing is, not even your hair fell out, okay. Many girls will lose their hair due to diet and lack of nutrition. Shang Zuoyan is so thin that she looks like 2 people before, but her hair is still so thick that even the seams are not visible. Thieves are enviable. He was looking for Shang Zuoyan just now, but when he suddenly saw it, Gu Huiyan suddenly didn't know what to say. It was probably a private meeting with friends, so today Shang Zuoyan did not dress very flashy, nor did she wear the luxurious clothes provided by her spokesperson when she was on camera. Instead, she looked very ordinary. I just wore black denim shorts and a white loose shirt. But even with such a simple outfit, she gave off a charming and bad girl feeling. Most people can only take a quick look at her 2 slender white legs under her high-waisted denim shorts, but anyone who knows a little bit knows how to look up. Look at her right shoulder. Because her top is loose, she pulls it down, and her white shoulders are exposed. Along with her shoulders, her bony collarbone is exposed. Of course, the most noteworthy thing is she didn't care at all about the black one exposed. Bra straps. Looking down along the shoulder straps, you will find that the button of the shirt is just at the position where you will see the underwear, and if you look closely at that position, there will be something looming. Lace. The clothes themselves were tempting enough, but her 2 bodyguards, Seong Dakshin just raised their proud heads to hold up the white shirt. This figure. It's too spicy, okay. She's so hot, and she's so brave to wear it, so she's the only one who deserves it, okay. What we are saying is that Shang Zuoyan really never forgets to expose her hot girl nature all the time. After all, She is the only sexy little wild horse in domestic entertainment. Even in private, she always has her own private clothes. Be careful. Such an ordinary outfit is full of temptation just because of a slight design from one shoulder. Where are you staring? What pulled Gu Huiyan's thoughts back was what Shang Zuoyan shouted angrily. Smelly pervert. At this time, they were just on their way back. The dim light illuminated Shang Zuoyan's doll-like pretty face and Barbie doll-like appearance. She looked at her cheeks slightly and looked a little sullen. Don't be too aggressive. Cough. Gu Huiyan coughed lightly, but his eyes still glanced there uncontrollably. Don't blame Gu Huiyan. This is not because he didn't realize it. This is the most basic reaction of a man, right? The famously handsome and muscular actor would also glance at the chest of his fellow actress in a tube-top skirt on the red carpet. Okay. If you don't look at this, then you're not a man, okay. Gu Huiyan felt a little embarrassed at this moment, his old face turned red. MD really didn't expect that when he met Shang Zuoyan after a few months, it would be like this. Before coming here, he was still thinking about the scene of meeting in an idol drama, and he was also worried that she might not be in a good state recently. What a good guy, he almost did emo to Gu Huiyan with the words stinky pervert. No, I'll look at that one. Gu Huiyan's eyes were wandering and he wanted to explain, but Shang Zuoyan rolled his eyes and glared at her. She pouted her little mouth and snorted. Don't explain, explanation is just a cover-up, hum. She hummed and shook her hair and left, but when she turned her back, the corners of her mouth involuntarily raised. Hey! Poor little kid Shen Qingqing wanted to stay and catch up with brother Huiyan while she was drunk, but Shang Zuoyan took her shirt by the back collar and threw her away to some boys. Hey, Zhen Yunbin, can you boys be a little more manly? Help take care of others. Like a big sister, she handed Shen Qingqing directly to Zhen Yunbin and Zhang Mi. Zhen Yunbin rolled his eyes repeatedly, but it was not easy to refute. After throwing away Shen Qingqing, Shang Zuoyan turned around and glanced at Gu Huiyan secretly. Seeing that he was still staring at her stupidly, she couldn't help but want to laugh. With her hands wrapped around her chest, she hugged the two Seong Dakshan brothers, raised her proud jade neck, and walked forward silently without paying any attention to Gu Huiyan. I just occasionally glanced to the left, not to see the scenery, of course, but just to see if Gu Huiyan was following. Under the night, her back looked very uneven, probably because she dyed her thick black hair back. Now she really looked a bit like a goddess, not just as charming as before. Of course Gu Huiyan followed, not because Shang Zuoyan was here, but because Sister Zhang Yao drank too much, and this woman who had given birth was really unrestrained. It is said that at the wine table, the sister killed Zhang Mi and Zhen Yunbin, and the two young freshmen were knocked down. It was too hard to carry her to Zi. Gu Huiyan would definitely have to help. Let's go together. Shang Zuoyan came over to help Sister Zhang Yao and they took the place of Xiang Zi, allowing the little sister to take a rest after a long absence. They just walked along the road of the resort to Zhang Yao's room. On the way, Gu Huiyan occasionally glanced in the direction of Shang Zuoyan. He didn't know if it was because Shang Zuoyan called him a pervert just now. Gu Huiyan didn't know how to open his mouth. Puff. On the contrary, it was Shang Zuoyan who was amused by his naive appearance. She said. What are you doing? You talk so much when playing games, and then you become shy when we meet. This guy made it seem like he and the two of them had meted each other online. He wasn't unfamiliar with them. Even though they hadn't accomplished anything, they still had a crossing the sheets relationship with each other, right? No, it's just that we haven't seen each other for a long time. Gu Huiyan scratched his head, changed the subject with a naive smile and said. Why have you lost weight again? To be honest, Gu Huiyan really felt sorry for Shang Zuoyan. When we met during the Chinese New Year, she was haggard and thin, and she had lost a lot of weight. Although her mental state was better this time, Gu Huiyan always felt that she was thinner than last time. That little face is a bit thin and out of shape. Isn't it good to be thin? Shang Zuoyan didn't take it seriously at all, and even asked Gu Huiyan with a smile. Okay, as long as you're happy. Gu Huiyan shook his head and was about to say something else, who knows? Vomit. Sister Zhang Yao seems to be vomiting. Today, the young lady's sister is wearing a blue dress with a tube top. Even if she is not photogenic, she is still dressed very delicately. She must have drunk too much and she likes to act like a drunk. Gu Huiyan listened to her muttering. Men, none of them are good. They are all beasts. They are worse than pigs and dogs. It's hard to imagine a well-known female celebrity trying to hum men on the street. It's the off-season and there are few people in the resort because of the filming of the show. Otherwise, this person would be in great embarrassment. Of course, Zhang Yao is not afraid. She is professional when she scolds her ex-husband. Gu Huiyan. It feels like being stabbed in the back right away. What we are saying is, sister, you have been hurt by a man, you can't just deny all men in the world, right? I'm a good man, please. I am a good man, and I am, well, this joke is a bit lame. Puff. Shang Zuoyan was amused. Her big, watery eyes glanced at Gu Huiyan, and she actually ran to Zhang Yao's ear and said something meaningful. Sister Zhang Yao, you are right, men are not good at all. I'm telling you Shang Zuoyan, if you can't survive, then you can die. The corners of Gu Huiyan's mouth twitched, and he suddenly wanted to press Shang Zuoyan to the ground and rub him hard. A little bit, I'll make you so angry. Ha ha. Shang Zuoyan disagreed and giggled. When she jumped up, the two brothers Xiong Daxian also jumped with her happily. Even in the night, the scenery was quite spectacular. Hearing Shang Zuoyan smile after a long time, Gu Huiyan didn't know whether to be angry or happy, so he stopped arguing with her. Amidst the laughter, the group of people gradually became smaller. Shen Qingqing and Shen Yuqi all went to their rooms one after another. They said hello and went back to rest. Mother Zhang and Teacher He are not at tonight's party. Teacher He may arrive tomorrow due to work reasons. He may not have less work than Gu Huiyan. Zhang Ma went to deal with the program. She was not only a guest, but also a producer. Then please ask Brother Gu and Sister Shang to send Sister Zhang Yao back to her room. I don't know how the show team arranged it. Everyone was gone. Xiang Zi was already in the room, but Zhang Yao's room was still in front. Do not worry. After sending Xiang Zi back, only Gu Huiyan, Shang Zuoyan and Zhang Yao were left. It was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. For night owls, this was the beginning of nightlife, so neither Gu Huiyan nor Shang Zuoyan was sleepy at all. The resort is located on the seaside, almost by the sea. The wind in Hainan is always a bit humid. Gu Huiyan turned his head and looked at the sea under the night, and couldn't help but sigh. There will be no seafood to eat in the future. Shang Zuoyan didn't get his point at first, but soon she smiled and said, "Don't say this in front of the camera, otherwise it may not be possible whether the show can be broadcast." "Nonsense, do you think I'm stupid?" Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes. A few jokes at close range face-to-face gradually narrowed the distance between the two. Before coming, Gu Huiyan was afraid that recording a show with Shang Zuoyan would be embarrassing, but now it seems that it won't be the case. She feels that her condition is not as bad as he thought, and she seems to have adjusted a lot. Gu Huiyan should not have worried about her in the first place. She said herself that she would not suffer from depression. People who have never had enough to eat are not qualified to talk to her about depression. Speaking of this matter, Shang Zuoyan also complained about Gu Huiyan, saying that you are a fool and what did you tell Sister Zhang Yao to ask her to take care of me? Who else should I use to take care of me? Do you think I, Shang Zuoyan, am so fragile? Also, Who are you to me to care about me so much? When asked who are you to me, Shang Zuoyan's big eyes flashed with hope, although she knew that was impossible. Friends. Sure enough, Gu Huiyan used this kind of coping again, which made Shang Zuoyan have a headache. After walking for a while, it was too far. Zhang Yao wanted to vomit again. After vomiting, she did not rest. Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan also wanted to take a rest, so they found a seat for Sister Zhang Yao to sit down and rest for a while. They also took the opportunity to catch their breath. Tone. I have something to tell you. Maybe there wasn't anyone around. Sister Zhang Yao was still drunk and looked delirious, so Gu Huiyan didn't shy away from it. What's up? Shang Zuoyan looked sideways at Gu Huiyan, who considered it for a moment before saying. Just, let's record the show tomorrow. Remember not to mention the fact that we played games together a few days ago. When he said this, he didn't know if he felt guilty, but Gu Huiyan didn't dare to look at Shang Zuoyan. The reason why he came over to see them having dinner tonight was actually to say this. He subconsciously explained to Pei Jingshu yesterday that it was a friend who played his account. Wouldn't it be all over if Shang Zuoyan spilled the beans? So I actually came here to give you some advice. It's just that this instruction made Gu Huiyan a little awkward. What made Gu Huiyan a little helpless was that he was greeted by an unexpected silence. Because he didn't look at Shang Zuoyan, he didn't know what Shang Zuoyan's expression was, but he must not be very good looking, right? Just as Gu Huiyan was playing drums in his heart, Shang Zuoyan's voice finally reached his ears. She said in a tone that seemed to be self-deprecating or mocking Gu Huiyan. Thankfully you didn't agree to it at the beginning, otherwise I wouldn't be able to live such a shameful life. Ah. At first, Gu Huiyan didn't understand what she meant, until his eyes met Shang Zuoyan's slightly resentful expression. Gu Huiyan understood immediately. She was talking about the night she supported the Guangdong concert last year. That night, she probably drank too much. She said that she didn't want anything as long as she cared about Huiyan, even if she had Pei Jingshu, it didn't matter. She even said the words "know 3 things and take care of them." Thinking about it now, Shang Zuoyan should really be grateful that Gu Huiyan pushed her away, otherwise even if Gu Huiyan promised her, her character would not be able to bear things like this anyway. She can't even play a game openly and fear being discovered by his real girlfriend. Is this something that Shang Zuoyan would do? She even felt sick. When Gu Huiyan said that to her, did he give her the illusion that they were stealing beauty? But even if he stole it, Gu Huiyan never gave it to her. Okay. Not me. Gu Huiyan still wanted to explain. Gu Huiyan. Who knows, Shang Zuoyan suddenly called him by his name, and turned his pretty face like a doll, staring straight at Gu Huiyan with her big watery eyes. The expression on it was very complicated, including anger, unwillingness, and a little bit sad. Not worth. She didn't shy away or dodge at all. She didn't know if she was a little excited at this time, but she stood up and stood under the street lamp, saying in a voice that was a little angry and even hoarse. Aren't you bullying me like this just because I like you? But can you ask yourself like a man, you clearly have feelings for me, why are you unwilling to admit it? Is it that hard for you to admit that you like me? Is it so difficult for you to say you love me? When she first called Gu Huiyan's name, she could control her emotions as much as possible. But as she spoke more and became more and more emotional, her delicate body began to tremble uncontrollably. Her excited tears incontinent constitution made the mist in her big eyes gradually become thicker, and finally the cheeks slid down and started to drip down like money. She really never thought that before the official recording of the program, she would fall out with Gu Huiyan and say such things during their first meeting a few months later, let alone how it would end. But when Gu Huiyan said not to show them playing games on camera, she really felt insulted. Shang Zuoyan, since when has she become the kind of woman who accepts everything? She can ask for nothing, but she wants the sentence "I like you" that Gu Huiyan clearly said, and it is not difficult to say this. She was fed up with his constant coping. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 277. Gu Huiyan never quite understood why being with Shang Zuoyan always involved topics like and dislike. Shang Zuoyan is always willful. She will not hide her emotions like Pei Jingshu. Sadness is sadness, which will be reflected on her face and on the pig's trotters that she can't chew. When you are angry, depressed, or sad, you will also ask questions loudly. Fortunately, it was already late at night, there was no one in the resort, and the other guests had gone back early. Otherwise, if others heard these words, there would really be problems. I didn't bully you. Gu Huiyan didn't know how to explain to Shang Zuoyan. To be honest, he didn't want to say it, but who asked him to tell Pei Jingshu if it was a game he played? To fulfill one lie, you need to tell countless more lies. At this time, Shang Zuoyan's big watery eyes were staring at Gu Huiyan. Her pretty face was still as delicate as a doll, but it was no longer so shining. She raised her white and slender jade hands and gently touched them with the back of her hands. Wiping her tears, she seemed to realize that she had lost her composure. She tried her best to control it and said, "It's up to you to have it or not. I'm not yours anyway." After saying this, she turned around and left. To be honest, she had long since stopped looking forward to hearing what she wanted to hear from Gu Huiyan's mouth. What she just said was nothing more than a way to vent her temper. Leaving now is nothing more than losing face. Anyway, Sister Zhang Yao was delivered to the door, and Gu Huiyan could handle it alone. Gu Huiyan raised his hand to stop Shang Zuoyan, but she didn't even look back and just said, "I remember everything you said. Don't worry, I won't do it on camera." At this point, she paused for a moment, turned her head slightly, and then said, "But don't ever play games with me again." After saying that, she left without mercy, leaving no room at all. In fact, this is her, Shang Zuoyan. If someone bullies her, she should retaliate unscrupulously and regardless of the consequences. Do you still expect her to play that shady game with Gu Huiyan after Gu Huiyan said that? What a joke. Since he insists on being so shameful, she should stay away from him. Looking at Shang Zuoyan's slender, tall but bumpy back under the street lamp fading away, Gu Huiyan was a little confused for a moment, feeling that he had always been quite sorry for Shang Zuoyan. But to be honest, Gu Huiyan didn't seem to have done anything wrong, right? He has always only cared about Shang Zuoyan. It's just possible that he regarded this as concern between friends, but Shang Zuoyan did not. Tisk tisk. Gu Huiyan tilted his head away and clicked his tongue helplessly, thinking that he had already offended Shang Zuoyan as soon as they met. Tomorrow, when he appeared on the show, he would have to let those little black guys with exposed chicken feet say that their relationship was awkward. Gu Huiyan didn't want to tell Shang Zuoyan not to mention playing games, but could he not tell her? How come no one understands Gu Huiyan? Sometimes Gu Huiyan is strangely speechless. It's obvious that all the bad things he didn't do were done by well-intentioned people, but why the hell does he treat himself like that scumbag who steals his beauty all day long? Well. Sighing silently, Gu Huiyan didn't think about those bad things anymore. He was busy and tired today, and he didn't care about whether he liked it or not. Let's send Sister Zhang Yao back to her room first. Just as he was thinking this, Gu Huiyan turned around and walked towards the seat, but who knew that when he turned around, he would find Sister Zhang Yao was looking at Gu Huiyan with a half-smiling expression. Gu Huiyan. When did you wake up, sister? Gu Huiyan's mouth twitched, thinking that Sister Zhang Yao drank too much and fell asleep without moving. Who would have thought that she would wake up? If she wakes up, did she hear the conversation between Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan just now? Thinking of this, Gu Huiyan broke into a cold sweat on his back. He recalled the conversation he had just had with Shang Zuoyan. He was playing a game to lie and not be discovered by Pei Jingshu. It was also what Shang Zuoyan said. If people heard this, wouldn't it be completely wrong? Well, just, for a little while. Zhang Yao raised her jade hand and gently placed it on her forehead. She straightened her hair that had been messed up by bowing her head. Her legs were raised high, looking slender under the street lamp. She didn't know if she was sweating. Because of this, these legs seemed to reflect light. The young woman's amorous feelings are clearly visible. After adjusting her appearance a little, she looked at Gu Huiyan funny, winked slightly, and then said, "Don't worry, sister didn't hear anything." She probably drank too much, so Zhang Yao's cheeks were a little red at this time, and she looked like she was awake, but she was always giggling there, and she didn't know whether she was drunk or sober. Gu Huiyan. Aim. Zhang Yao's expression seemed to be saying, "Sister has heard everything, don't worry, sister will keep it a secret for you. Let's take you back first." Gu Huiyan shook his head, not knowing what to say. How could he threaten Zhang Yao to stop her? I'm fine, I don't need help. Zhang Yao was still trying to be brave. She held onto the seat and tried to sit up, but she was still swaying because of the drunkenness. Gu Huiyan had quick eyesight and quick hands, so he hurried over to help her, but because she couldn't stand firmly, her whole body fell back on Gu Huiyan. To be honest, she is a female star after all, and Sister Zhang Yao also smells pretty good. Mixed with the smell of some alcohol, it penetrates Gu Huiyan's nose, and it's really overpowering. I didn't expect that you are still a passionate person. Zhang Yao didn't care at all that the distance between herself and Gu Huiyan was very close, and because Gu Huiyan came to help her, she simply pretended to be drunk and had no energy, and pressed her whole body against Gu Huiyan. She was like a snake without bones, just wrapped around Gu Huiyan. Okay. Didn't you say you didn't see anything, sister? Gu Huiyan tried his best to keep his distance and couldn't help but roll his eyes. To be honest, the way Zhang Yao, a young lady like Zhang Yao who has given birth to a child and is very well kept and tasteful, is really annoying when she drinks too much. She is like an addictive poison, as if she wants to get people into it. Same. Gu Huiyan should quit Shang Zuoyan, otherwise it would be up to her to decide. When he came to the door, Gu Huiyan asked Zhang Yao for the room card. His sister actually lifted up her skirt and shook the shorts she was wearing under her skirt, saying that the room card was in her butt pocket. It gave Gu Huiyan a headache and said, "If you keep doing this, I'll leave you here and ignore you." Oops. Zhang Yao pouted her little mouth like a little woman and said coquettishly, "If you really leave it here, I will find a marketing account to expose your information tomorrow." You. Gu Huiyan was speechless for a moment. Sure enough, he had been caught. "Come on, take out the key card." Zhang Yao playfully raised her pert buttocks and lifted her skirt as if she was trying to take away the human soul. Even though Gu Huiyan had turned his head away from looking and was very careful when taking out the key card, she still slightly raised her butt when Gu Huiyan reached for it. Gu Huiyan. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. To be honest, he really wanted to slap Sister Zhang Yao's butt. Of course, this was just a normal reaction of a man, and he would not do that. On the contrary, Zhang Yao giggled. She was actually quite open-minded. She couldn't tell whether she liked Gu Huiyan or not. She just thought this little brother was quite cute. Pei Jingshu is his girlfriend, and Shang Zuoyan is entangled with him. It's really enviable. At this moment, she was thinking, if the man that Shang Zuoyan and Pei Jingshu were fighting for was won by her, how proud would she be? After drinking tonight, with the blessing of alcohol, those deepest desires in my heart were wildly released. Zhang Yao herself had no intention of restraining herself. Ding, click. So when Gu Huiyan helped her in and opened the door, the moment the door closed, she raised her beautiful hand and hooked it around Gu Huiyan's neck without hesitation. Before he could resist, she pursed her red lips and started to have sex. I want to put a mark on Gu Huiyan's mouth. Walk. That is to say, Gu Huiyan reacted quickly and turned his head, so that it was printed on her face, otherwise there would be no way to explain it now. Zhang Yao was really crazy. In terms of the degree of madness, Gu Huiyan had never experienced any woman who was crazier than her. Not only did she kiss and kiss, she also made a show of taking off Gu Huiyan's clothes. The movements were big, quick, and the breathing was rapid. She was not afraid of damaging her own clothes or Gu Huiyan's clothes. She didn't care at all if the buttons broke due to the force. She was like a she-wolf who had been hungry for who knows how many days. She was in a hurry. Put the fat on the edge of your mouth into your mouth. This reminded Gu Huiyan of the night when Pei Jingshu came to Zibo last year. Was he just like Zhang Yao now, anxious to eat Pei Jingshu? Sister Zhang Yao, please don't. Gu Huiyan must have held her hand. To be honest, after he had just said what he said to Shang Zuoyan, he was immediately pulled into the room and forcefully kissed by Sister Zhang Yao. He was a little confused, and he really wasn't in the mood, okay. He even rejected Shang Zuoyan. How could he be eaten by Sister Zhang Yao so lightly? But obviously, the drunken Zhang Yao's passion is more passionate than that of Shang Zuoyan. What's wrong? Don't you like sister? Huh. Zhang Yao's forehead was pressed against Gu Huiyan's, pushing him against the wall. Gu Huiyan didn't know why. MD clearly knew that he was a head taller than Zhang Yao, but now he seemed to be pushed down. He was exactly the same height as Zhang Yao. She was breathing rapidly, and their distance was so close that Gu Huiyan could feel the taste of alcohol in her mouth and her rapid breathing. Zhang Yao also said, "You dislike your sister for giving birth to a child?" Huh. No. Gu Huiyan shook his head. He didn't dislike Zhang Yao, but it wasn't a matter of whether he disliked her or not, right? What is that? Zhang Yao's forehead was pressed against Gu Huiyan's forehead. There was no light at the entrance of the dark room. She gasped and said, "Are you afraid that I will pester you like Shang Zuoyan? You are overthinking it. My sister is not a pestering little girl. You can come to my sister at any time in the future." As she said that, she took advantage of Gu Huiyan not paying attention and kissed her again. Can you believe that if Gu Huiyan reacts even a moment too late, she will succeed? Zhang Yao is really suitable for a one-night stand. She doesn't like men and doesn't trust men. She just wants to have fun with you. After one night, she won't drag you out, let alone be sloppy. After the divorce, she was very casual. Although she wouldn't go to the room to play house when she saw a good-looking little girl, she wouldn't do something like this that she wanted to do on the spur of the moment after drinking too much. Suppress yourself. Her image is the most intuitive representation of many divorced female stars in the entertainment industry. You have money, looks, and a body, but what kind of meat do you want? What happened to enjoying life? But who told Gu Huiyan's character to be different? You drank too much, sister. Gu Huiyan tried his best to suppress the burning desire in her, and also tried his best to stay calm. He was very glad that he came late tonight and did not attend the dinner party or drink a little bit of wine. Otherwise, if he drank too much tonight, he would really not be able to get out of Sister Zhang Yao's bed. It's just that Gu Huiyan is a little troubled now because he doesn't quite know how to push Sister Zhang Yao away, and is afraid that Zhang Yao will make a fuss again if he decides to do it, or threaten him with what she heard just now. That hurts. And just when Gu Huiyan was thinking, seeing that Zhang Yao couldn't take off her own clothes, she actually wanted to take off Gu Huiyan's clothes. Sister, don't. Whether Gu Huiyan was rushing or not catching up, 2 buttons of his clothes fell off. Okay. Just when Zhang Yao was extremely emotional and was about to capture Gu Huiyan with a fierce offensive. Just when Gu Huiyan finally couldn't hold himself any longer and planned to push Zhang Yao away. Ding dong dong. A rather special phone ringing interrupted this very hasty and sudden passion. Gu Huiyan could clearly feel that when he heard the phone ringing, Zhang Yao's crazy movements suddenly stopped and froze, with no intention of continuing. The sound of the ringing sound was like a tranquilizer, hitting Zhang Yao's body and making her become quiet all of a sudden. Her eyes are no longer blurry, and the expression on her face is no longer so drunk. She stood up immediately from squatting, and while arranging her messy hair, she quickly ran into the inner room with her cell phone. Boom! The door was closed at once. Vaguely, Gu Huiyan could hear voices coming from the room. Anan, why don't you go to bed so late? Mom has a job, so I'm going to have dinner with my colleagues. Of course it will be late. It seems to be her son. She doesn't seem to be able to see him often now, but there doesn't seem to be any restrictions on talking on the phone. Call. Gu Huiyan breathed a sigh of relief silently and looked down at the shirt he was wearing. The white shirt had a lot of lipstick marks on it, and several buttons on the chest were broken. Sometimes Gu Huiyan really has to admire these sisters. At that time, Shang Xuoyan was so crazy that she didn't know where to push, but they even knew exactly which button to break. They are all talents. It's better to leave quickly. Gu Huiyan wiped the lipstick marks on his clothes for a moment, and didn't care if there were any elsewhere, and just wanted to run away. Finally, Sister Zhang Yao is not here. If I don't leave now, I don't know if I can leave later. Gu Huiyan really doesn't know. 36 strategies, taking action is the best strategy. But just when Gu Huiyan was about to run away. Click. The door over there was suddenly opened again. Zhang Yao walked out and said. Okay, it's very late. You need to go to bed. Can your mother call you again tomorrow morning? Well, you're so good. See you next week, good night, Mua. When talking to her son, you can't tell that Zhang Yao was drunk just now. She acted as if she had never drank. As soon as she came out, Gu Huiyan didn't know whether he should leave or not. At this time, Zhang Yao's call had been hung up. In the room, because it was too dark when they entered the room just now, Zhang Yao turned on the light. The bright light shone on them, which made Zhang Yao sober up a lot. Because her passion was interrupted and she talked to her son on the phone again, Zhang Yao didn't seem so irrational anymore. Looking at Gu Huiyan who was staring at her stupidly, Zhang Yao gently raised her round buttocks and asked with a teasing smile. Continue. Keep going. Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes and retorted subconsciously, making Zhang Yao giggle. Her pretty face was still a little red, and her smile was trembling, which was very attractive. What a good man. Zhang Yao put her hands around her chest, looked at Gu Huiyan with a half-smiling expression, and said. I didn't take any of this. I respect you for being a man. Gu Huiyan. To be honest, it was really hard for Gu Huiyan to imagine how Zhang Yao could still tease him without being embarrassed at all after experiencing those passionate moments just now. You're fine, I'll go back. Gu Huiyan didn't want to talk nonsense to her anymore, and turned around and planned to run away. Hey wait. In the end, Zhang Yao called him out again. Gu Huiyan slapped him on the forehead, and he really had a headache. MD felt as if all the women around him were trying to prevent him from becoming a good man. This entertainment industry, Juan, is really a big mess. What a mess. All. Puck, cluck. Zhang Yao was amused by his behavior. She said. Look what you said, I don't have to drag you into bed. Then what are you? Gu Huiyan was puzzled again. Zhang Yao leaned gently against the edge of the wall and said with a half-smile. I finally discovered your secret tonight. You really don't want to shut my mouth. Are you really afraid that I will go out and talk nonsense? I also have to be able to stop your mouth. Pook, hey, little pervert, do you only know how to get high? You can come anytime you want. Just tell me what you mean. Gu Huiyan didn't like beating around the bush, so he felt that Zhang Yao had something to ask him, so he simply asked. It's so straightforward. He is indeed a straight man. Zhang Yao rolled her eyes at him and said. I'm going to a party next week. You can be my best man then. Ah. Gu Huiyan said in a very serious way, with an awkward look on his face, as if he was saying to sister, I am a man with a girlfriend and you ask me to be your male companion at the party. Why are you trying to get me to break up the house? Thinking too much. Zhang Yao smiled helplessly and said. You are just going to play with me. You are considered a friend I invited, not the kind of male companion you think of. Not only are you going, there are other friends who will accompany me. So male companion is just a word she used to tease Gu Huiyan? Zhao. It's that simple. Gu Huiyan never thought that she would let him go so easily. Unexpectedly, Zhang Yao stood up silently, opened her cherry mouth, stretched out her lilac tongue and licked her upper lip twice, pointed at her mouth with a green jade finger, winked at Gu Huiyan and said. Then how about you stop my sister's mouth? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 278. Let's wait for another day. After hearing the conditions, Gu Huiyan didn't dare to stay for a second, so he turned around and ran away. To be honest, emotions in this era are really cheap. For example, Gu Huiyan and Zhang Yao seemed to have only met last week, and then tonight. Zhang Yao dared to take advantage of being drunk and drag Gu Huiyan into the room to play house. Although he has long known that men and women of this era are like this, Gu Huiyan still disagrees and does not want to adapt. When he returned to the room, Gu Huiyan's mind was still in a mess. He had never imagined that he had experienced two impressive things in less than an hour that night. The words Shang Zuoyan said are still echoing in Gu Huiyan's mind, and he can still occasionally think of the scene of being pressed against the wall by Zhang Yao and being forcefully kissed. Those scenes kept Gu Huiyan awake from tossing and turning. Obviously this old man usually falls asleep, but today he couldn't fall asleep, which is rare. It's quite funny. I feel like what happened today is really messy. I originally wanted to tell Shang Zuoyan about playing games and not talk about it in front of the camera, but in the end, not only did Shang Zuoyan get a haircut, but she also let Zhang Yao get the handle. On. Fall. What the hell is this? Pattering. The next day, the veteran actor who had the same high attendance rate as Gu Huiyan's grey peaked cap appeared again on a rainy day. When Gu Huiyan got up in the morning, he opened the curtains and saw a drizzle outside. It seemed like he was in a normal mood. Did you sleep well, Mr. Gu? Today's broadcast started relatively early. In order to take a picture of the guests just waking up, the program team had the door of some guests knocked on at 5 or 6 o'clock before they could grab their makeup. Do you think I slept well? Gu Huiyan scratched his head. At this moment, the old man's hair was messy, his eyes had no light, and he looked lackluster. It was probably the effect of Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshi's intense sugar splitting last week in Pei Ban takes care of CP. As soon as the show started airing, hundreds of thousands of people flooded into the live broadcast room in just a few minutes. Barrage blast. I'm coming. First. Come to Android CP. I haven't seen Shang Zuoyan for a long time. I miss her so much. After scrolling for a while, someone saw the listless Gu Huiyan, and Chiuer couldn't help but say. Why do you feel like Gu Laoliu looks like a man whose body has been hollowed out? Did your boy sleep with Sister Pei last night? Wow, I didn't expect that Sister Pei, who looks so cold, would want so much. This is not a bus going to kindergarten. I want to get off. I just can't see the barrage. If I could, Gu Huiyan would really have to curse. Aha! Yawning, he found a hat and put it on. Gu Huiyan put on a simple short-sleeved shirt without putting on makeup, and went downstairs to have breakfast first. He was really the first to arrive without makeup. The restaurant downstairs was deserted, maybe because of the rain. The temperature was not that high. Gu Huiyan sneezed and felt his throat was itchy, like he had a cold. In fact, compared to winter, Gu Huiyan really doesn't like summer very much. He has caught colds more frequently in summer than in winter since he was a child. Because summer is very hot and the quilt is light, he often cannot cover himself with quilt. During the meal, the other guests came downstairs one after another. It is worth mentioning that Shang Zuoyan appeared side by side with her three other teammates Su Xiun, Han Zionji, and Shen Yuqi. As the captain and C position, Shang Zuoyan wore a rainbow-colored hip skirt today. You can also think of it as a stepmother skirt. This kind of skirt is very figure-flattering and can perfectly integrate the waistline, hipline, and chest line. Highlighted. Compared with the period of crystal love season, Shang Zuoyan has lost a lot of weight, and there is not so much meat on her legs. Now it is impossible to see any buttocks when patting her butt. But the word front and back still seems to be tailor-made for her. In terms of scale, her Seongdakshan too can't be compared with any female guests at the scene. Shen Qingqing has dozens of airports. They stack buffs together and dare not challenge Shang Zuoyan. Ah! Shang Zuoyan. When she appeared, the number of barrages obviously increased. In terms of celebrity status, traffic, popularity, and fan base, Shang Zuoyan is definitely the most popular person on the scene besides Gu Huiyan. Even Pei Jingshu from the previous issue can't say that she is more popular than Shang Zuoyan. And she is popular for a reason. You can look at the three teammates Su Xiun, Shen Yuqi, and Han Zionji who appeared with her. It is obvious that the three of them were also very eye-catching in the previous show. Sweet girl, cool girl, little fox. But as soon as you stand next to Shang Zuoyan, you feel that in the collision situation, Shang Zuoyan almost crushed them as if they were pushed flat. Any female idol should not try to compare with Shang Zuoyan. No matter in terms of figure, appearance, or strength, she is the top one. After all, she is the captain and the C position. Once she appears, others seem to be nothing more than that. It is worth mentioning that today, Shang Zuoyan specially dyed her hair. She has not dyed her hair since she dyed it back to black last year. When she was attacked at that time, the color of her hair was often used as an issue. Many people said that her hair looked bad. Girls can easily lead a group of young girls into bad situations. If Gu Huiyan remembered correctly, even last night, Shang Zuoyan still had normal black hair, right? Although most of her hair is still black at this moment, she has done some light pink and dark blue highlights on her bangs, temples, including some hair tips and hair rooms. The two colors themselves are an excellent match. The so-called fire blue, when spread out and put on the shoulders, there will be one blue and one pink. It looks so good. It gives people a very trendy feeling and is refreshing to see. After all, this is Charlene Shang. She has never taken a normal route in terms of hairstyle. You can go through all the photos of her in the past. If you can find a picture of hair that is not unique in dyeing, I will lose. It was probably because of the return of her hair color that, suddenly, that uncanny and confident girl seemed to be back in everyone's sight. Oh my god, her hair. Ah! I really want to have it. I'm going to find teacher Tony to help me make this color today. When the barrage reached her hair, it started brushing wildly. I don't know how many girls are chirping in the comment area, shouting that they want to dye the same hair color as Shang Zuoyan and buy the same clothes as Shang Zuoyan. This scene is quite exaggerated. Even when Pei Jingshu appeared, the barrage didn't say much about wanting to imitate it. The reason is not complicated. The main reason is that many of the clothes Pei Jingshu wears must match her temperament to support them. Most of them are expensive and belong to big fashion brands, and not everyone can afford them. But the clothes that Shang Zuoyan wears focus on a fashion trend, and the price may not be cheap, but they are relatively close to the people, and they will look very spicy. Very nice. In the eyes of many girls, Shang Zuoyan is the spokesperson of fashion in the true sense. Just look at the coat she is wearing today. It has a texture like a silk scarf, a grey-blue tone, and is embroidered with some national fashion patterns. When draped on her body, when pulled down, she can even reveal her skinny skin. Shoulder. It's too spicy. What's funny is that when many girls in the barrage section said they wanted to find teacher Tony to dye their hair the same hair color as Charlene, one person mercilessly added insult to injury. You also need someone with that hair volume. As soon as these words came out, they directly touched the hearts of many bald girls. Really, Shang Zuoyan's hair volume is what many girls envy the most. In such a bright hall, you can't even see the slit of her hair when the camera is pointed at her. She used to wear double ponytails or double buns. Someone asked her why she didn't wear a bun with a bun, but Sister Shang just said something and silenced a group of bald girls. She says, "When I put a bun on my head, it's like having a big watermelon on top of my head. It's always ugly." At that time, you didn't even know what the expressions of the girls on the show were like. I was so envious. However, Shang Zuoyan disagreed and said that every time the hairstylist cuts her hair, the first thing she says is to thin it out. When summer comes, it feels like wearing a plush hat. She even asked the host what are there any tips for hair loss. The host was silenced. At that time, someone almost scolded Shang Zuoyan, but fortunately she explained in advance that she had too much hair, and sometimes it was difficult to style her hair, especially her hair, which is hard. Without softening, the whole head would look square. She really has this trouble. But how did she know that her troubles were the dreams of so many people? Therefore, it's not that fans don't want to imitate many of Shang Zuoyan's hairstyles, it's because the hair volume really doesn't meet that requirement. It's really hard to achieve her effect. Oh. Welcome. When Shang Zuoyan appeared with 3 teammates, the guests and some staff who had already arrived applauded. It is worth mentioning that today Shang Zuoyan did not appear unhappy as Gu Huiyan thought. Instead, she confidently twisted her sexy waist and waved hello to everyone. She had a familiar smile on her Barbie doll-like face. While waving, she confidently raised her arrogant neck and turned in a circle. Her movements actually looked a bit artificial, but she was so beautiful. After a lap, I feel not only sunshine but also confidence. After the pretense, her face returned to a familiar smile, and she laughed and greeted the people around her. Oh! Many fans couldn't help crying and had goosebumps watching this scene. Some said, "The familiar her is finally back." The former Shang Zuoyan was such a confident and bold girl. She was hot, bold, and sunny. But after what happened last year, she felt like a different person. From the second half to the beginning of this year, many people had no news about her. Some time ago, there were even rumors that Shang Zuoyan was depressed. After the storm passed, real fans finally began to surface. Fans still felt sorry for her. This was her first appearance in a long time since Crystal Love season, so everyone naturally came to support her. Before the broadcast, many people were afraid that Shang Zuoyan was different from the confident girl they knew, but now they are really happy to see her like this. She is still the little wild horse Shang Zuoyan who likes to dress very hotly and dress up in a weird way, and doesn't care about other people's eyes. Hey, long time no see. Oh my god, you are so beautiful today. Why have you lost so much weight? The guests were polite to Shang Zuoyan one by one. Gu Huiyan almost couldn't help laughing after seeing it. Except for Zhang Ma and teacher He, most of the people in this group had dinner with Shang Xueyan last night. Today but he acted like long time no see, and there was no one left. A bunch of actors. Zhang Ma really feels sorry for Shang Xueyan, she has really lost a lot of weight. My waist is almost as thin as a tree pole. I don't know if it was a coincidence, but Shang Xueyan finally sat next to Gu Huiyan. The two looked at each other. Shang Xueyan was originally unwilling to talk to this guy, but considering that he was in front of the camera after all, he was afraid of spreading rumors, so he chuckled, waved, and said, "Long time no see, did you miss me?" Gu Huiyan had a cold this morning and his nose was not feeling very well. He had been sneezing just now. He had just finished wiping his nose when Shang Xueyan came over. Gu Huiyan, who was wearing a grey peaked cap at the time, was stunned when Shang Xueyan greeted him. He looked at Shang Xueyan with a silly expression and asked, "Didn't we just meet last night? Why haven't we seen each other for a long time?" As soon as these words came out, the expression on Shang Xueyan's delicate, doll-like face suddenly froze. The other guests were laughing and waiting to see the two android CPS come together, but as soon as Gu Huiyan said these words, they fell silent. In comparison. Puff. Ha ha ha. The audience laughed like crazy. Gu Huiyan, you stinky straight man. Won't you cooperate? In fact, everyone knows that they met in the hotel before recording the show. Many of them were on the same flight. Isn't that just for the sake of the program's effect and to give the audience a sense of immersion? Look. Everyone cooperated. Just take care of Huiyan. What we're saying is, can't you be so sincere? When Shang Xueyan passed by just now, there were still some dead android CP fans planning to reincarnate, but just halfway through the reincarnation, Gu Huiyan slapped her back into the coffin with just one sentence. Just give these people a hard time, okay? Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x20. Shang Xueyan really didn't expect the stinky straight man to be so uncooperative, and she didn't know what to say for a while. What's even more funny is that Gu Huiyan not only didn't feel anything was wrong at all, he even said helplessly while taking out paper and blowing his nose, "Didn't you scold me last night? Did you forget?" As soon as these words came out, Shang Xueyan didn't know how to scold him at first, but now she was immediately angry. "What the hell are you doing?" She was so embarrassed and angry that she raised her beautiful hand and slapped Gu Huiyan several times. She never thought that this old man could use it to make fun of her. She was obviously very sad last night, but this old man really dared to tease her. What a stinky bastard who is not afraid of death. Her face was full of disgust. To be honest, Shang Xueyan had never been stingy about her dislike of Gu Huiyan. When she first bought ice cream, this old lady didn't buy the 10 yuan zhong sui jiao but wanted to buy her 2 or 3 yuan. I was disliked in public. She is such a girl who expresses her joy and anger. When she dislikes something, she really dislikes it, and when she likes it, she really likes it. This is not a contradiction. Hey, okay, okay. Stop shooting. Are you finished? She was never finished filming, and Gu Huiyan didn't even have time to avoid blowing her nose. Slap you to death, you stinky bastard. You deserve it. Shang Xueyan pouted her mouth angrily, wishing she could slap Gu Huiyan on the wall until it was sticky. Okay. Just wait. Gu Huiyan directly resisted Shang Xueyan's slap, then picked up a tissue to cover his nose and blew his nose. Come on. Take it and go to Shang Xueyan. Ah. Shang Xueyan now knew she was afraid, and waved her hands repeatedly and shouted. Go away. Why are you still so disgusting? Ha ha ha. Many viewers enjoyed it, and one netizen commented. Gu Lao Lu, You are so special. The scar has healed and you have forgotten the pain. Have you forgotten about the fried cow dung? Are you still playing disgusting things here? Are you afraid of being said that you don't respect women again? Are you not well educated? This remark caused a burst of laughter. The cow dung explosion incident was a turning point in Gu Huiyan's career, and many fans still remember it clearly. In the last episode of Hello Life Partner, when Mother Zhang made 3 rules to Gu Huiyan, she also said not to play with disgusting things, especially not to play with gold. Okay, this old six will do this again in this issue. And it's for Shang Xueyan again. The audience was also convinced, and some said, "Are you really familiar with Shang Xueyan to do this with her, or do you think you won't mind it only if she can afford it?" All said and done, most fans and viewers are quite happy to see Gu Huiyan and Shang Xueyan playing and having fun again. After the confession session at the end of Crystal Love Season, many people thought that they would never see Gu Huiyan and Shang Xueyan in the same frame again. It turned out that they were in the same frame at the concert, and now they are in the same frame on Hello Life Partner in the same frame. They themselves are difficult to calm down for many people. Many people are quite satisfied to see them in the same group again. It is really happy to see them having fun again. In the comment area, those Android CP fans who were already best have started their reincarnation in Dirty Land again. He. The guests at the scene also laughed and watched this scene. In fact, the happy enemies relationship between the two of them is really quite enviable. Because of the two of them, this program will probably have many interesting highlights. However, Mother Zhang in the crowd still looked thoughtful and worried. She was thinking that she needed to remind Gu Huiyan about her high step, but she really couldn't play with those disgusting things again. Similarly, Zhang Yao looked at them a little strangely. She couldn't understand this little man Gu Huiyan. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 280. Chapter 276 Lolita CP track with her breast pockets close to her face. She can't sing your smile. Let's go, let's go. After breakfast, even though the weather was not ideal, everyone still had to rush to the whale village where the recording venue was located as soon as possible. It is worth mentioning that this time Gu Huiyan did not share a car with Zhang Ma and teacher He, but with Shang Xueyan, Su Xiun, and Shen Qingqing. Today, Su Xiun is still wearing the standard sweet girl outfit. She always loves white clothes. Today she is wearing a white A-line skirt, which makes her look very white, and the sweet smile on her face always makes people laugh. A feeling of first love. To be honest, Gu Huiyan always felt that Shen Qingqing should learn from Su Xiun. If a sweet girl like her followed the sweet girl style, she would really be no match for Su Xiun. Look at what she is wearing today, a dark pink and black dress with a Lolita style. She wants to have a wild Lolita style, but she doesn't have the figure. The reason why people like Lolita is not because they are petite, but because even though they are petite, they have a good figure. What about her? Dry. I can't hold my chest up. To be honest, Gu Huiyan felt that Shang Xueyan would be able to pull off this style of skirt perfectly. Some cosplay costumes include some Lolita, which have some breast pockets. Do you believe that the size of Shang Xueyan's Xiongdakshan Er is just enough to be completely choked by the breast pockets? After throwing the luggage into the car, it was Gu Huiyan who drove the car. It is worth mentioning that his nasal voice was quite strong and everyone could hear it. Shang Xueyan also asked, "Can you drive now? If not, I'll do it." Gu Huiyan was immediately happy when he heard this. What does having a cold have to do with driving? Shang Xueyan rolled her eyes at him, said nothing, and consciously got into the passenger seat. Shen Qingqing originally wanted to sit there, but unfortunately she was a step too late, so she had to squeeze into the back seat with Su Xiun pouting. Being bored on the road, Su Xiun suggested, "Let's play some music and listen." Okay. Everyone agreed. Let's play Teacher Xiaogu's song. Su Xiun blinked lightly at the position where Gu Huiyan could see in the rearview mirror, and smiled sweetly. Gu Huiyan couldn't help but smile bitterly and complained. You don't need any copyright if you release my songs, right? As soon as these words came out. Ha. It elicited a burst of laughter. As we all know, Good Life Match is produced by Gu Huiyan's company. He himself participated in the program organized by his company, so he must have turned a blind eye to copyright issues. It doesn't matter if other people's songs are played on the show. The main thing is singing. Artists have to pay royalties if they sing more than 4 lines in front of the camera. Who can guarantee that a few of these artists will be able to resist singing along while listening to the songs in the car? The main reason is that your songs are good. Su Xiun stuck out her tongue playfully, and she was right. In today's domestic entertainment, Gu Huiyan's works have always been killing various groups. His music is played in the streets and all over the internet. I'll release it, I'll release it. Before Su Xiun could play the song, Shen Qingqing, who had been holding a small clip on her phone, took the lead in connecting to the car's Bluetooth. No one said anything. Gu Huiyan's works are all very good, so I listened to everything. But who knows? Our sister Qing played the song Want to See You when she came up. When she heard the prelude of this song, the corners of Shang Zuoyan's pretty mouth twitched inadvertently. Sitting in the passenger seat, she turned around and glared at Shen Qingqing. Ha. The audience burst into laughter. Want to See You was the first CP song of Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu's Pei Ban Takes Care of CP, and it was very popular at the time. Everyone knows that Shang Zuoyan likes Gu Huiyan. You played his and Pei Jingshu's CP song in front of Shang Zuoyan. Did you do it on purpose? Why are you looking at me? The glared sister Qing didn't realize anything was wrong, so she pouted and muttered. Did I put it wrong? Then I'll change it. As she said that, she moved her green fingers to change a song, but Shang Zuoyan just rolled her eyes and turned around. I like you, those smiling eyes. The very familiar music once again made Shang Zuoyan couldn't help but twitch the corner of her mouth, because this time the little clip contained. Like you. This song was originally written by Gu Huiyan for Pei Jingshu, but she didn't use it because it didn't fit Pei Jingshu's style. Later, Gu Huiyan included it as a song in his new album. And the lyrics in this song seem to be expressing love every time, and once you hear it, you can think of him and Pei Jingshu. No. Isn't this enough? Sister Qing is really confused. She has specially avoided Pei Jingshu's little luck and meeting. Why is it still not working? Then I'll change again. She doesn't go against Shang Zuoyan. Although Xiaojia doesn't like Shang Zuoyan, she also knows that there is a talent gap between them. So she obediently changed the song, but still a headache. She first changed two together no matter how far away, which was a piece about Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu's long-distance relationship. Later, she changed to a song called Missing is a Disease. The chorus of this song contained Pei Jingshu's harmony, but she didn't even know it. Immediately afterwards, I slipped on Under the Flying Clouds. Although it was changed quickly, the familiar intro was still recognizable upon hearing it. You did it on purpose, right? Shang Zuoyan couldn't help it anymore. If Gu Huiyan was not driving in the car now, she really wished she could run over and tear Shen Qingqing's face into pieces. Ha. The audience almost laughed out loud. One audience member commented. My sister Qing's eyes always reveal a clear sense of stupidity. Some people say that she is a teacup, but that is not true. She is just stupid, and many things are beyond her imagination. She liked Gu Huiyan's songs very much. How could she know that every one of them was related to Pei Jingshu? In fact, if Shen Qingqing hadn't been so reckless today, no one would have realized that Gu Huiyan had written so many songs for Pei Jingshu, and there were so many works related to her. Then, can I play 2 recent songs? Shen Qingqing pouted her mouth and refused to accept it, so she turned around and played another song, Heart Wall. Shangzuoyan, pen. A knife cannot be hidden in one's eyes. Shangzuoyan now wishes she could cut this little clip into pieces with 1,000 cuts. Ha ha ha, goose goose. Many viewers laughed and became rich. One Jiu even said, "Why don't you play You Will Marry Me today? If you play this song, it will be a real killer." Cough. Gu Huayan was watching on the sidelines, but Shen Qingqing was also speechless at this moment. He smiled bitterly and said, "Sister Qing, give your phone to someone else and ask them to help you." Whoa whoa. Shen Qingqing reluctantly pouted and handed the phone to Su Xiun next to her, asking her to help. Su Xiun had been watching the fun and was very happy. Now she was giggling. She took her phone and clicked on Your Smile written by Gu Huayan to Shangzuoyan. Tisk tisk. The audience couldn't help but secretly smack their lips when they saw this, and they all said, "Look at Su Xiun's emotional intelligence." In fact, there is no such thing as emotional intelligence or sophistication. It is just the difference between having brains and not having brains. Sister Qing is that idiot beauty type. Some people also say that she deliberately made tea. This is not without traces. You said that most of Gu Huayan's works are indeed related to Pei Jingshu, but there are also many that have nothing to do with her, right? Not to mention anything else, among Gu Huayan's new songs last week, Listen to Mom, Unconditional, and Possessed are all very good. But she chose Heart Wall. You said she is not a loyal fan of Gu Huayan, she has listened to all her new songs. You said she is a loyal fan of Gu Huayan, but she has no idea what the Wall of Heart is about. It also makes me laugh to death. I like to use my tone to sing your taste. This second. There's a fermentation that feels sweet. The familiar melody reached the ears of every audience member. It was Shangzuoyan's voice. This song Your Smile was written by Gu Huayan to Shangzuoyan. It was of very high quality and very suitable for her works and style. Rhythmic and lively, it seems to be tailor-made for Shangzuoyan, a energetic girl. Don't ask what zodiac sign it is, it's tailor-made for you. Wow. Just hearing this, many viewers recalled that at the concert, when Gu Huayan went to help out, Shangzuoyan shouted loudly, "Do you know? I am really good today. Happy. Happy." Yeah. To this day, many people still remember how happily she laughed at that time. Just like this song, lively and sweet. But it seems that from then on, Shangzuoyan began to decline. With the exposure of concert paddling and other things, and being driven by marketing accounts, in just a few months, her reputation was criticized by a cliff-like decline. Those who attacked her character, those who attacked her figure, all kinds of abuse almost overwhelmed her. As the new year approached, she even appeared on trending searches because of her sudden weight loss. At that time, she seemed to have changed. Fortunately for everyone, the Shangzuoyan we met this time seemed to be back to her previous self and not very emo. Now that the melody of the song is playing together, in a daze, everyone seems to have found the energetic ghost she once was. Horse girl. However, let's sing together Shangzuoyan. When Su Xiun and Shen Qingqing sang along to Your Smile from the back seat and asked Shangzuoyan to sing together, she waved her hands in a complicated manner and said, "I can't sing this song now." After saying that, she pursed her lips, turned back, and leaned her head against the car window. Pattering. The rain was still falling outside the window, and even though the car was not driving very fast, the wipers were still swinging regularly. There was no wiper on the passenger window, so raindrops fell on it many times. With the windows closed in the dull car, a layer of fog gradually formed. Shangzuoyan's strands of fiery blue hair hung gently on her shoulders. Even though there was no emo expression on her face, Many people still noticed it when your smile was playing in the car. She seemed unhappy all of a sudden. Obviously, your smile is such a cheerful piece. Obviously, on the day she sang Your Smile, she smiled as if she was experiencing the happiest thing in her life. Obviously, her voice playing on the car stereo is so sweet. But as the original singer Shang Zhuoyan, when she heard this song, her whole person became depressed. Ah! For a time, all kinds of distressed barrages filled the screen. They thought that maybe the song brought back some memories for her. Even though she appeared to everyone today as if she was no different from before, in some details, true fans could still see that she was not as lively and cute as before. Occasionally, the camera will catch Shang Zhuoyan secretly looking at Gu Huiyan. At that time, someone will say, "It feels like she still hasn't let go." During Crystal Love season, everyone knew that Shang Zhuoyan liked Gu Huiyan, but who made Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu join hands successfully? From then on, her love could only be hidden in her heart. Some people will also say that Crystal Love season is just for show, but every time they see Shang Zhuoyan looking at Gu Huiyan, everyone can detect that there is love in it. Even though the way they act in front of the screen now is like Gu Huiyan's song called Ordinary Friends, who can't see that Shang Zhuoyan hasn't really let go. They, after all, are also difficult to calm down for many people. In the eyes of many people, Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan's Pei companion care is enviable, but their android CP with Shang Zhuoyan is the true portrayal of many real-life couples. This is why even though Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu are so sweet, they don't scold each other when they are in the same frame as Shang Zhuoyan. I just hope that even if they are just friends, they can be very good friends for a long time. Let's change the song. Just. The car drove to the traffic light. Gu Huiyan took the opportunity to turn around and hook up with Su Xiun, who obediently handed over Shen Qingqing's cell phone. Someone was posting the barrage at that time. You must never play content. The song Contentment was a piece that Gu Huiyan sang in a bar when the actor Su failed to confess to Xylin. This song once made the actor Su Chang burst into tears. And everyone knows the emotion that this song wants to express. It is obvious that Shang Zhuoyan is not satisfied, and everyone eats her not satisfied. If Gu Huiyan plays Contentment, it will really make people curse. Fortunately, Gu Huiyan didn't actually play Contentment. He played a piece that everyone was surprised by. Shouldn't I put down my heavy shell? Looking for where is the blue sky? Floating with the gentle wind. After all the injuries, I didn't feel any pain. What he played was a representative inspirational song from his first album, called Snail. In fact, before he played the song, many people had speculated that he would play works such as Stubborn and Adieu. In fact, except for works related to Pei Jingshu, those about love and love, Gu Huiyan's music style is more inspirational. Like this song Snail, what it conveys to everyone is a tenacious spirit of not admitting defeat, not being afraid of losing, and climbing up step by step. Of course, most people said that he might play sad people don't listen to slow songs. After all, this song was his official statement that it was written for Shang Zhuoyan. But in fact, this song is a bit noisy, suitable for a beach party scene, but not suitable for today. In comparison, Snail is actually quite suitable. Gu Huiyan is really good at letting things go. I want to climb step by step. Wait for the sun and look at its face quietly. Small sky, big dreams. A heavy shell, wrapped in a gentle look. In fact, Gu Huiyan almost couldn't sing the song Snail because an official contacted him and said that he wanted to use the song as an inspirational promotional song, so he wanted to specifically find the copyright for singing in the future. Buzzing. The red light turned green, Gu Huiyan released the brakes and stepped on the accelerator, and the car started slowly. The rainy scene at the beach always looks very misty, and there will be fog on the car windows, which also makes the song more atmospheric. Shang Zhuoyan couldn't help but look at Gu Huiyan with a pair of big watery eyes. At this time, The car stereo was playing. I want to climb step by step. At the highest point, fly forward on the blades. Let the wind blow dry the tears and sweat shed. One day, I will have my own heaven. When listening to the song Snail, she actually wanted to ask Gu Huiyan, as long as I climb up step by step, will one day really have my own heaven? Maybe when others listen to this song, they hear it as inspiration for life and career, but when she listens to this song, all she thinks about is Gu Huiyan. In the end she didn't ask Gu Huiyan. She was just listening to the song and asked Gu Huiyan, "Do you know which song of yours I hate the most?" Gu Huiyan was stunned when he heard this. Not to mention him, including Su Xiun and Shen Qingqing in the back seat, as well as all the viewers watching the show, were all stunned subconsciously. Gu Huiyan has many works, and almost all of them are of very high quality. Indeed, it is difficult for everyone to agree. Even if most people like most of his works, there will be some that everyone does not like. But even if they don't like it, they will admit that the song is well written. When talking about Gu Huiyan's works, almost everyone will say which song I like the most. And the topic of hating did not seem to appear in the mouths of anyone discussing Gu Huiyan's works. But they heard the words most annoying from Shang Zuoyan, who had always liked Gu Huiyan. This surprised many people. I won't just hit the thunder with this song, right? Gu Huiyan also glanced at Shang Zuoyan with his mouth twitching, and asked weakly. He thought to himself that there was no reason for Shang Zuoyan to hate this song, right? Indeed. It is true that Shang Zuoyan does not hate this song, she even likes it quite a lot. People who have had more inspirational experiences will never dislike this kind of work. She shook her head gently, and the few strands of fire blue hair scattered on her shoulders moved with her head. She says, "It's the song called The Name Engraved in My Heart." To this day, she still remembers the scene in a taxi this winter when she listened to the driver playing this song alone and cried like a lunatic. She thought that she would never like this song in her life, or even sing it. This can be regarded as a point for the extra story. I will write this for you after it is finished. He. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 281. It was still morning when we arrived at Whale Village, but there was no sun in the sky. Looking towards the sea, it was covered with clouds, and the smell of humidity in the air was very strong. Singing and dancing all the way, the only thing that made people feel that God was kind was that when we arrived at the place, the rain became very light, it was drizzling, and it was just right without an umbrella. When getting off the bus at the entrance of the village, he happened to bump into some villagers taking shelter from the rain. Gu Huiyan also saw Sister Zhou playing with her son at the entrance of the village. "Sister." Gu Huiyan, the social gangster, got out of the car and called for someone, and Sister Zhou smiled and said hello when she saw him. At first, Shang Zuoyan thought he was calling a guest or a member of the program staff, but when she saw it was a local villager. At that time, I couldn't help but raise my hands to cover my pretty face, and thought with a wry smile, just take care of Huiyan, I can mingle with the local villagers no matter where I go. The key point is that he is not just showing off, and he is not familiar with a villager either. Let's just talk about the old men playing chess there. When he saw Gu Huiyan, he waved generously and shouted, "Master, are you playing chess?" As a result, he waved his hand with a disgusting look on his face and said, "No, I'm drinking tea. This is because I remember what happened when Gu Huiyan pointed the country before." Ahaha. The audience was all happy. This old man was a social gangster, but his popularity was average at first glance. It is worth mentioning that Sister Zhou's son, the fat boy, followed Sister Zhou over to say hello. When he saw Shang Zuoyan, he was surprised and pulled Sister Zhou's clothes and said, "Mom, this sister looks like that Barbie doll." The silly boy was still drooling and looked dazed. After hearing this, Sister Jo couldn't help but look at Shang Xuan a few more times. Maybe her appearance was not as good as the Peijingsha she had seen last week, which was in line with the aesthetics of the elders, but it is undeniable that this girl is really exquisite. From her figure to her facial features, she is much more advanced than the female celebrities around her. She is also very memorable and can make people remember her at a glance. Shang Xuan was also very pleased when she heard this. She smiled sweetly, walked up to the fat boy, knelt down and asked with a smile, "Isn't sister pretty?" "Uh-huh." The fat boy nodded repeatedly. Shang Xuan liked people to praise her for her good looks. Just when she was about to say something more, Gu Huiyan, the old man, turned around and said, "It hurts a lot when my sister hits someone." "Ah!" The big fat boy was stunned at that time. Puff. Ah ha ha ha. The audience burst into laughter, and many netizens couldn't help but express, "Gu Huiyan, can't you just stop hitting at this time?" But then again, Gu Huiyan seems to have been beaten a lot by Shang Xuan, so this statement cannot be said to be groundless. Gu Huiyan. Shang Xuan was so angry that she couldn't help but stamp her feet, grabbed Gu Huiyan's ears, and said angrily, "Say it again if you can. Look at you, look at." Gu Huiyan hardly resisted the wave of AoE damage inflicted by Shang Xuan, pointed at Shang Xuan and twisted his ears and said, "What did I say? Is that right? My sister knows how to hit people, right? Well." The big fat boy immediately silenced him. "You still say?" Shang Xuan was so angry that she wanted to bite him. Is this bastard really inhumane? Yan Yan. Su Xiun couldn't stand it any longer and came to dissuade her. How could this female star be so cruel in front of the camera? Whose female star would catch a male artist by the ears and then beat her? Besides, she, Shang Xuan, was the only one who dared to turn Gu Huiyan's ears so directly. In terms of traffic, popularity, status, etc., Gu Huiyan was no longer the amateur from Yunnan who appeared on the show for the first time. In Hello in the Show life partner, he is the well-deserved traffic controller and main star. Almost all the other guests on the show were very respectful to Gu Huiyan. Even Zheng Yunbin, who had never been very impressed by Gu Huiyan, had to pretend to be respectful in front of the camera. Not even one of the female guests dared to joke with Gu Huiyan. She asked Zhou Yan and directly pinched Gu Huiyan's ears. And it went around in a circle. Su Xiun felt hurt for him. He's so annoying. Shang Xuan didn't care at all. She wanted to say not to mention that Gu Huiyan was very popular now. Even if he was famous all over the world, she didn't need to hesitate to pinch him. Who made him deserve a beating so much? In fact, most front-line celebrity artists, especially those who are popular, have their own true fans. If they are wronged or tampered with by someone on the show, their true fans will definitely not agree and will directly leave the show and scold them. But Gu Huiyan is obviously not an ordinary first-line traffic artist. His fans of eye bags are not ordinary true fans either. Just watch it for now. If other young talents were treated like this, the comments section would have been full of scoldings for this female star. Gu Huiyan's situation is not good here. Instead of speaking for him, he is shouting. Hit. Beat him to death. It's time to hit. Cut off his pig ears. I wish I could tell Shang Xuan to beat Gu Huiyan to death. It's quite funny too. On the one hand, Gu Huiyan really deserves to be beaten, but on the other hand, it is also because this person is Shang Xuan. Shang Xuan and Gu Huiyan have always had this kind of relationship. They are used to it, and it would not be the same for other female celebrities. It seems that no other female star is as cruel as Shang Xuan, right? Hiss. After being finally released, Gu Huiyan rubbed his ears and said to the fat boy from Sister Jo's house without a memory. You know, don't look for someone like this when looking for a wife in the future. You still say that? Shang Xuan pretended to hit him again. Gu Huiyan was so frightened that he immediately ran away. Ha ha ha. The audience laughed and really enjoyed watching this scene. After laughing and saying hello to the villagers, they carried their things and headed to the program recording venue. Gu Huiyan walked to the recording venue carrying 2 suitcases by himself. Su Xiun and the others carried their own suitcases. They held umbrellas, but Gu Huiyan did not. In his words, "Why should I hold an umbrella when it rains so little? What a joke." Shang Xuan originally didn't want to talk to this guy, but when she thought about it, Gu Huiyan seemed to have a cold this morning, and he was feeling lonely carrying 2 suitcases by himself. In the end, I couldn't bear it anymore, so I came over to help him hold the suitcase in one hand and an umbrella in the other. Suddenly noticing that the rain had stopped, Gu Huiyan was stunned for a moment, turned to look at her, then continued walking without saying anything. "Hey, hold the umbrella for you, why don't you thank me?" Shang Xuan pursed her lips, still a little unhappy. As a result, Gu Huiyan calmly replied, "Look at whose boxes I'm carrying." Ah! Shang Xuan was stunned for a moment and looked down, only to realize that the 2 boxes Gu Huiyan was carrying belonged to her. Ah! She felt a little embarrassed for a moment, and Gu Huiyan responded mercilessly, "Shouldn't you hold an umbrella for me?" Many times, Gu Huiyan can't help but complain about Xuan Shang. This woman really doesn't know where she got so much luggage. Every time she goes out, she always has more luggage than others no matter where she goes. Usually she brings 2 or 3 with less. 3 or 5 more. Well. Gu Huiyan said nothing wrong, but his attitude made Shang Xuan not very happy. She pouted with a look of resentment on her face, and finally snorted and said, "I'm overthinking it. I'm just helping you hold the umbrella. I'm mainly afraid that my suitcase will get wet." After saying that, she even shook her fiery blue hair and pouted her little mouth. Snort. He snorted. The word tsundere is best reflected in her. Then you can hold an umbrella for your 2 boxes yourself. Gu Huiyan had no consciousness of being a tool man at all, and he never tolerated Shang Xuan. He threw the box on the ground, turned around and ran out of the reach of Shang Xuan's umbrella. "Hey you, hey." Shang Xuan stood there angrily and stamped her feet. She was wearing a hip-hugging skirt today. The hem was not very low. When she raised her feet to a large extent, the shadow underneath the skirt was looming, which always aroused people's endless reverie. Crotch burning. The most eye-catching thing is her beautiful legs. Probably because she was slightly chubby before, her legs gave everyone the impression of being chubby. Even though she is now thinner, the thinness gives people the feeling of chopstick legs, but it gives people a contrast feeling. Even more charming. Gu Huiyan. Shang Xuan was holding a cute doll in her hand. It was white and looked like a dinosaur. In fact, she wanted to hug the big chicken leg pillow that Gu Huiyan gave her, but she really felt that she couldn't show it to others. "I didn't have the eyes to see it, so I didn't take it." Fortunately, he didn't take it, otherwise the big chicken leg pillow would have been used as a weapon to hit Gu Huiyan. Isn't this? Now this dinosaur doll was thrown towards Gu Huiyan by Shang Xuan without mercy, hesitation, or any sloppiness. "You are a dog, Gu Huiyan. How can there be someone like you?" She pinched Liu's waist and shouted angrily. When Shang Xuan was angry, her cheeks would always bulge subconsciously, giving people the feeling of a female character in an anime when she is angry, so cute. Some people always say that she is Barbie or King Kong Barbie, and they are absolutely right. He he he. Looking at this scene, the audience couldn't help but laugh out loud. One thing they could say was that it was Gu Huiyan who could always make Shang Xuan so angry. What's wrong with me? Gu Huiyan was still standing in the drizzle. Fortunately, he didn't turn his back to Shang Xuan just now, otherwise the dinosaur pillow would have been thrown on the ground and stained. Picking up the dinosaur pillow and playing with it, Gu Huiyan said. Didn't you say you were holding an umbrella for the suitcase? Then you can hold an umbrella. I haven't picked up my luggage yet. I just happened to go back and pick up my own luggage. With that said, he actually wanted to leave. You. At this time, they happened to be on the way to Whale Village. It was still a long way from the village entrance to there, even if they couldn't walk on the beach because of the rain. There is no way to ask the staff for help here. If Gu Huiyan throws it away, Shang Xuan really doesn't know how to carry 3 boxes and walk in. But you asked her to give in to Gu Huiyan? It doesn't seem very realistic either. Shang Xuan gritted her teeth angrily and stomped her feet, her body trembling a little. To be honest, she really didn't want to chase Gu Huiyan again in front of the camera. It would damage her image. She came here because she wanted to be a lady. But who made Gu Huiyan, the old man, too cheap? Got it? She hadn't even finished telling the villagers' children that she loved to hit people, but this old six did it again. It's a wonder she can endure it. I fought with you today, Gu Huiyan, just stand there. Ignoring his own suitcase, Shang Xuan chased after him while holding an umbrella. When did she, Shang Xuan, become a master who could be teased but remain indifferent? Hey! What are you doing? I'm warning you, it's against the law to hit someone. Hiss, you are still recording a show, aren't you afraid of being watched? Wak, are you really fighting? No, this umbrella is just for you. Everyone can see clearly that Shang Xuan hit someone. Shang Xuan was carrying a straight umbrella, which was prepared by the program team and was transparent. After all, the umbrella was not sponsored. At this moment, Shang Xuan didn't care whether she would be caught in the rain or not, she just put away the umbrella and used it as a stick, chasing after Gu Huiyan to hit her. You're still shouting. I beat you to death. Smelly bastard. Stop. On the small road in the village, in the drizzle, Shang Xuan ran after Gu Huiyan for a long distance. Ahaha. The audience was all enjoying themselves, and someone was commenting on the barrage. Why do they always fight the same thing when they follow each other when they get together? We are really happy enemies, haha. To be honest, Shang Xuan is not like this for any other female star. Tisk tisk, Yeching is back. Charlene Shang is a model for female celebrities to be strong throughout their lives. Shen Qingqing should just act coquettishly and let it go if she encounters something like this, but she just can't say anything soft. What's more, what she said, I guess Gu Huiyan not only refused to do that, but also said something to her. Damn clip, die for me. Just thinking about it makes me angry. Even more so, we have to chase after Gu Huiyan. But there is one thing to say. Seeing them like this, the audience is quite happy. It feels like they will feel more comfortable when they get along like this. After chasing and fighting for a while, Gu Huiyan sometimes admired Shang Xuan's physical strength. After all, he practiced dancing all year round. If he hadn't exercised regularly, it would have been easy for her to catch up with him. There is a saying that Gu Huiyan is asking for trouble. Now that the fight is over, why don't you go back and help carry the suitcase? Why bother? Some viewers are confused. Why do they feel that Gu Huiyan always likes to tease Shang Xuan? Even Shang Xuan was depressed. You said you were kind-hearted and held an umbrella for the stinky bastard, but he didn't appreciate it. You still got angry at yourself, but in the end, didn't you still have to go back and carry your suitcase? What a waste of energy. Who is it? Some viewers are discussing whether Gu Huiyan is doing it for the effect of the show. Gu Huiyan did not explain this, and no one knew the specific reason. Everyone only knows that because of the fight, Shang Xuan's umbrella was broken and could not be held up. The two people who had been fighting in the rain for a while were very damp. They were approaching the Tiannian house where the two elders lived. At that time, I don't know what happened, but suddenly there was a heavy rain. Then, when they came to the room, the two of them were soaked like two drowned rats. It's all your fault for caring about Huayan. Why do you insist on making a fuss? Look at me like this. I got up before 5 o'clock this morning to grab makeup. Shang Xuan was devastated. In order to give the audience a good impression today, she got up early this morning to do some styling. Not only did she put a lot of effort into styling and makeup, she also dyed her hair a color that she liked very much. This time is good. After being caught in the rain, not only my clothes were all wet, but my hair was also all wet, and there was no hairstyle at all. Makeup is not a waste of water just because of it. The makeup artists of female stars must know how to achieve the three major elements of waterproof, sweatproof, and oilproof in important areas such as eye makeup, but you have to say that when you get wet, compared with before the rain, there must be a difference. Moreover, he was in a state of utter disarray all over. What could he do with his face alone? Do you think everyone is Pei Jingshu? Gu Huayan didn't hear Shang Xuan's complaint, otherwise he would definitely say that you still have a figure. One thing to say, Shang Xuan also has a unique look when she is wet. Some of her hair sticks to her neck and collarbone, and the silk coat she wears is completely attached to her body, which outlines her entire good figure. Even though Pei Jingshu has a face that can support everything, Shang Xuan's figure cannot cover it up. How do I know it's suddenly getting serious? Taking a towel from the assistant's hand and wiping it, Gu Huayan didn't really care. Of course he doesn't care. This old number 6 appeared on camera without makeup or doing any styling. How could he understand the pain of Shang Xuan getting up before 5 o'clock in the morning to rush for makeup? Ahaha. In comparison, the audience was quite happy to watch it. When Shang Xuan jumped in anger, the two brothers Xiong Daxiang also followed suit. The scene was not to mention how spectacular. Some brothers even said, "My brother, this wave of atmosphere. He just wants to benefit his brothers. What's wrong with him? Okay, let's go change clothes first, don't catch a cold." The good teacher he chuckled and came over and asked Shang Xuan to go upstairs and change clothes first. Shang Xuan glared at Gu Huayan angrily, pointed at a pink suitcase and shouted, "Why don't you help me get the box quickly?" Oh. Gu Huayan obediently helped carry things upstairs. "We haven't decided where Xuan will live for the time being, so we should change clothes first." When going upstairs, because she was very depressed, Shang Xuan couldn't help but ask Gu Huayan, "Why do you always feel so lively today?" It felt like Gu Huayan was very happy to tease her today, sometimes a little deliberately, such as when he first got off the car. Many viewers also feel the same way, because the traces are indeed quite obvious. Is this kid not deliberately trying to create a show effect? Playing awkwardly? What the hell? You'd better give me a reasonable explanation, or I'll sterilize you. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 282. Have it? Gu Huayan scratched his head and pretended like nothing happened and he had done nothing. To be honest, Gu Huayan was really embarrassed at the moment. Shang Xuan's umbrella might have been damaged because of slapping him, but it was still able to hold on. But Gu Huayan didn't even have an umbrella in his hand, and he came here in the rain. If I hadn't just soaked a paper towel at the door for a long time, I might be dripping with water now. The key is that he caught a cold this morning, his nasal voice was particularly strong, and he looked a little pitiful when he got wet. Gu Huayan is quite handsome, and he has a bit of the temperament of a little puppy. Once he got wet, he happened to be on the stairs again. He was at the bottom where Shang Xuan was at the top. His embarrassed eyes looked like it's a bit pitiful, just staring at it. Well, most girls really can't refuse. Shang Zuoyan was silent for a moment, feeling a little soft-hearted after being stared at. She turned her head arrogantly and said casually, "It doesn't matter if you have it or not." After saying that, she turned around and entered the room. After putting the things on Shang Zuoyan, Gu Huiyan also went back to change clothes. He had a cold in the morning. Now that he was caught in the rain, he felt a little worse. Gu Huiyan quickly got some cold medicine. "That is to say, I am so young. I took some medicine and rested for more than an hour and sweated a little. During lunch, I was bouncing around like a normal person. That is to say, just after lunch, the program team's loudspeaker shouted throughout the whale village, saying that materials are free for the first time, everyone should go grab the materials. There is a supply store in the village. The guests can spend all their money there. There is food, drink, and entertainment. Basically everything is available, but it is not cheap." Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu went to have a dinner during the opening last week and missed it. It is said that Sister Zhang Yao almost squandered all the money Gu Huiyan earned from the 1v5 that night. Just now Zhang Yao said that she had no money to eat and so on, and then called Shen Yuqi and Han Zionji to do some massage, spa, scraping and other things to earn some money from the guests. I didn't expect that this supply store would be open for free. Quickly, go grab something. At that time, Zhang Yao, Shen Yuqi, Han Zionji, and Xiang Zi were discussing what to do. When they heard that it was free, they got very excited. Several girls were chattering, and they reacted quickly when they saw how excited they were, and ended up going out. In front of the children, they were looking for sun hats and coats. By the time they went out, it would be 5 or 6 minutes later. Oh yes, I forgot to mention, the rain stopped. The rain at the beach comes and goes quickly. It has been raining all morning. Why doesn't it stop? It's also interesting that it suddenly cleared up just after the rain stopped. The day was so mysterious that it felt like writing a novel. I hope your family will starve to death." Gu Huiyan stepped on a flip-flop and came downstairs, grabbed a coat and ran out. When he arrived, Su Xiun, Shang Zuoyan, Shen Qingqing and the 3 male guests were also there looking at what they wanted to get in the store. Although it is free, each of these guests still select carefully to see what they want to eat and get, what toys are useful, and so on. It is worth mentioning that after Shang Zuoyan changed her clothes, she was abducted by Su Xiun and taken to their accompaniment home. There were mainly 4 people in their group, and both of them were living in Gu Huiyan. She was lonely enough by herself. Shang Zuoyan, if Yan goes to live with Gu Huiyan again, she will really be lonely and cold. In addition, didn't Pei Jingshu come to live with Gu Huiyan and the others last week? This week, Shang Zuoyan is coming to stay at their house just to be fair. I want to eat a peach. Shen Qingqing's eyes flashed as she grabbed an old man's yellow peach, and the others were also picking their own choices. In comparison, although Shang Zuoyan and Su Xiun held hands and smiled coquettishly from time to time, they seemed to be fascinated by the various foods in the store. It's like I have no interest. At this moment, Shang Zuoyan had already changed out of her beautiful rainbow-color hip-hugging stepmother skirt, and put on her usual tight jeans and a tight pink vest, paired with a pure white. The coat, tight on the outside and loose on the inside, completely outlined her good figure, and her beautiful legs were even more dazzlingly white. In fact, there are a lot of food in the store, and there are even some desserts. This was because when Shang Zuoyan saw cakes, egg tarts, etc., her eyes lit up as brightly as Shen Qingqing's. But now it seems like I can't seem to be interested anymore. The audience felt distressed after watching this, as it was obvious that she used to be a foodie. However, it doesn't take long for everyone to feel distressed. I didn't even wait for Su Xiun and the others to make a good selection. Quack, quack, quack. As the very recognizable sound of combat boots sounded, Gu Huiyan rushed in at a trot like a robber, bandit, or hooligan. "It's free, right? I heard it's free, right?" There was a staff member nearby, so Gu Huiyan went over and asked directly. "Ah yes, yes." The staff nodded blankly and looked at Gu Huiyan in confusion. "Okay, I've been waiting for your words." Gu Huiyan was not polite at all. He didn't even have time to say hello to Shang Zuoyan and the others. He picked up a basket prepared in the store and rushed into the store in a hurry. "Put some fruits in a basket, such as lychees, mangoes, grapes, and mangosteens. Select the more delicate ones. You won't even take a look at the more common fruits such as apples and pears. Especially the mangosteens." The mangosteens in the foam box made this old man grab them all and throw them all into the basket. "Use the other basket to grab the meat, beef, mutton, pig's trotters, etc." This guy put them all into the basket without any politeness. "Ah! Brother Huiyan, what are you doing?" Shen Qingqing was stunned. She wanted to play with some mangosteens, but Gu Huiyan took them away. "Especially the boxes of strawberries over there. This season, the strawberries are not much worse than the mangosteens, but Gu Huiyan just picked them up without showing them to anyone else. From the moment he came in, he acted like a robber, pretending to be whatever he saw." Puff. Ha 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 ha. The audience laughed like crazy, and the barrage went crazy. "Are these bandits entering the city?" "No, what about you, Gu Huiyan?" "Ha ha, you don't know how my brother's eyes widened when he heard the word free. Gu Huiyan, I'm a prostitute for free." Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x20. Maybe they all think that recording programs is not a rare thing for celebrities, so even if they heard that it was free, Zheng Yunbin and the others just came over to take a look. Just now, many people looked at them and found it awkward. Many people said that MD is free and yet they are so picky. You are really used to living a good life. If you let the old men and women in our community hear the words supermarket is free, within an hour the supermarket won't even give you the toilet brush, would you believe it? In comparison, when Gu Huiyan heard free, he rushed into the store and grabbed it like a bandit coming down the mountain, which really fits everyone's impression. I feel like this is the real reaction. What's funny is that Zheng Yunbin asked, "Are you concerned?" He stared at the many things in Gu Huiyan's two baskets and his mouth twitched because he wanted to get the box of strawberries inside, but Gu Huiyan restrained himself and left before he could get there. Seeing Gu Huiyan's poor appearance as if he had never eaten anything, Zheng Yunbin looked down upon him. However, Gu Huiyan asked him incredulously, "Brother, if you don't grab it when it's free, how stupid are you?" "I." All of a sudden, Zheng Yunbin was actually hummed into silence. "Ah ha ha ha." The audience laughed. "Yes, it's free and you're not trying to grab it, but you're still picky and picky, are you smart?" Shang Zuoyan and Su Xiun also giggled. Shang Zuoyan couldn't help but tell Gu Huiyan helplessly, "You said you are so red now, why are you still like this?" She thought that Gu Huiyan was different now that he was famous. How much were the things in the supermarket worth, and how could he, a top-tier artist, grab them like this? Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes and did not answer, but silently hugged his things, as if he was afraid that others would snatch them, and said, "Everything that comes to my place belongs to me. Whoever grabs it will fall out with whoever it is." Shang Zuoyan was happy for a moment. When he didn't pay attention, she raised her hand and grabbed a strawberry. She stuffed it into her mouth without washing it and said, "Just eat it. I'll make you mad." Not far away, Zheng Yunbin walked away with a look of disgust on his face. The camera happened to be on him at that moment, and the audience started to curse when they saw his disgusted expression. To be honest, it's not that he doesn't appreciate free stuff, he mainly doesn't appreciate these things in supermarkets. Yes, I heard that these daily necessities are free in the supermarket and he won't grab them, but if it's a luxury store like that, where a watch worth millions is free, will he grab it? Ferrari, Rolls-Royce, and Porsche stores say the cars are free, will he grab them? Vloggery, LV, and Gucci stores say everything is free, will he grab it? It's just that I don't like it. What they come into contact with in their lives is not the same concept as what ordinary people come into contact with. Let us say that Gu Huiyan's reaction is what ordinary people would have. You don't care where it's free, as long as you can get it for free, go get it first. Zheng Yunbin is actually quite capable, but he just likes to pretend, otherwise his popularity among the public would not be so bad. Comparatively speaking, Gu Huiyan's popularity is at two extremes from him, the good one is ridiculous. Just look at this moment, the two baskets are full. He still feels that it is not enough. He also wants to get some cakes, snacks, drinks and so on, but he has no place to put them in the two baskets. Just when he saw the coat he was wearing, my brother took off his coat without hesitation and threw it on the ground. Then he started throwing snacks, drinks, and yogurt into it. Puff. The audience laughed like crazy. Someone said, "I'm sure these clothes are worthless, otherwise Laolu would be reluctant to use them like this." Ah ha ha ha. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x20. Gu Huiyan himself was glad that he didn't wear expensive clothes when he went out today, but if this coat costs several hundred yuan, he would not be willing to throw it on the ground to hold things. That's all. When Sister Zhang Yao arrived belatedly with her 3 daughters, Gu Huiyan had already returned fully loaded with large and small bags. "Wow, you! Ha ha ha! Brother Gu, you are too strong." Several girls praised Gu Huiyan one after another. In comparison, the staff of the program team twitched at the corners of their mouths. They expected that the store would be robbed by guests after free, but they did not expect that Gu Huiyan would be so much looting. After Gu Huiyan took it, it was actually okay if Zhang Yao and the others didn't take it, because there really wasn't anything left. Is it convenient for me to be a guest? When leaving, Shang Zuoyan said that he wanted to visit their home, so of course Gu Huiyan and the others would welcome him, and they welcomed Shang Zuoyan all the way back. After arriving home, Gu Huiyan went to put away her things. Sister Zhang Yao took her for a tour. She also said that they wanted to open a health center to earn money from guests, and asked Shang Zuoyan if she was interested. Shang Zuoyan giggled and said that Su Xiun also had this idea, saying that she wanted to get a makeup remover and skincare product. She had already promised Su Xiun in advance, so she would not consider Zhang Yao for the time being. After spending a long time with Shen Yuqi and Han Xianji, Shang Zuoyan didn't notice that Gu Huiyan was back, so she asked him strangely where he was. After asking around, I found out that this old man had just gotten a basketball from the store and went outside to play basketball. Let's go and see. Zhang Yao, Xiang Ziyi, Shang Zuoyan, Han Xianji, and Shen Yuqi went to the basketball court near the care home together. Don't tell me, the basketball court at the seaside really has a unique flavor, with waves to accompany it and the sea breeze blowing. It's quite comfortable. Gu Huiyan was playing there alone with a basketball and a lollipop in his mouth, which was very comfortable. He would say hello when he saw them coming over, but it was a pity that no one knew how to play basketball, otherwise Gu Huiyan would have definitely invited them to play together. Can't Ching Ching know it? When talking about playing basketball, Shang Zuoyan also took a dig at Shen Ching Ching and said, "I saw you on the program some time ago." As soon as these words came out, puff. Many viewers couldn't help but laugh, and even Shen Yuqi and Han Xianji almost laughed. Shang Zuoyan was talking about the basketball show that Shen Ching Ching participated in after Crystal Love season to ride on Zhang Shuo's popularity. On that show, she made a fool of herself. She was almost a basketball novice and didn't understand anything. I laughed at him for a long time. Now Shang Zuoyan said this purely to ridicule and disgust her. Well. The little clip pouted with a depressed look on his face was livid, and he was so angry that he didn't speak for a long time. She and Shang Zuoyan had always been at odds with each other. Shang Zuoyan had always disliked her. This woman in the car even played songs to disgust her on purpose. It was strange that she could bear it. Giggle. Comparatively speaking, Shang Zuoyan is quite happy. It's always nice to take revenge on someone. After playing basketball for a while, it was not interesting to play alone, so Gu Huiyan put it away and followed a few people back. On the way back, Gu Huiyan handed Shang Zuoyan a lollipop, Alpine, 50 cents inside. At that time, Shang Zuoyan was stunned for a moment, and a dull expression flashed across her delicate doll face, because in fact, only Gu Huiyan would give her something like this, and no one else would. This thing is too cheap. She has been very good at controlling sugar in the past 6 months. She will pay attention to things with sugar, let alone eat sugar directly. It has been a long time since she has eaten anything very sweet, and she has gradually lost interest in sweet things. Thanks. She took the lollipop casually, opened it and stuffed it into her mouth. She licked it a few times with her lilac tongue, and the corners of her mouth involuntarily raised. Sweet things really make people feel better. On the way back, he passed by a very high seesaw, the kind made of a single tree trunk, and Gu Huiyan became interested. Hey, Shang Zuoyan, come here. When I came last week, I was busy sleeping on the first day and busy eating on the second day. I didn't even walk around this place. This was the first time Gu Huiyan discovered this. What are you doing? Shang Zuoyan was chatting with sisters Shen Yuki, and she was a little unhappy to be called over. When I saw it was a seesaw, black lines appeared on my forehead, and I couldn't help but say. You see, I'm the only one not wearing a skirt, right? Except for Shang Zuoyan, the other 4 girls all wore skirts. She didn't wear them because she got wet from the rain at noon and was forced to change into shorts. Look what you said, can't I just want to play with you? Gu Huiyan pushed down one side of the seesaw, stepped onto it, and called Shang Zuoyan to sit up. It is worth mentioning that this old man's expression is a bit strange, as if he is expecting something, and he has a bit of a bad taste. How grown up are you still sitting on a seesaw? It's really. Shang Zuoyan pouted with a look of disgust and reluctance. Despite this, when Gu Huiyan lowered the seesaw on her side, she stepped up her slender jade legs and sat on the wooden stick seat. Superior. So high. This wooden stick was very long and designed to be very high. It was difficult for one person to sit down and another person to get on top of it. When Shang Zuoyan sat on it, she felt something was wrong, and when she saw those things on Gu Huiyan's face. After the bad fun. I feel more and more something is wrong. She was about to stop sitting down, but Gu Huiyan suddenly squatted down. Ah! Shang Zuoyan lifted her feet off the ground and was completely lifted up by Gu Huiyan. You, let me down. She tried her best to squat down, but no matter how she moved, because of the weight difference, Gu Huiyan was much heavier than her. As long as Gu Huiyan didn't look up, she couldn't get up. Ah ha ha. Gu Huiyan laughed so hard that he looked like the evil plot succeeded. Isn't Shang Zuoyan struggling there? He moved up and down a few times. Shang Zuoyan, who was lifted up in the air, was shaken as if she was about to fall apart. She even vibrated when cursing. Gu Huiyan, you bastard. You stinky bastard. Let me go. Ah. Ah. I'll kill you. She gnashed her teeth and showed her claws, as if she wanted to kill Gu Huiyan. Ah ha ha ha. The audience was laughing their heads off. Let's just say, why does the scene between Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan become so funny when they get together? Participating in a love show, This little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 283. It is worth mentioning that when Shang Zuoyan was raped by Gu Huayan, the two brothers Xiong Daxiang also trembled. The amplitude and frequency of the trembling were higher than ever before. The barrage started to read those two sentences again. My brother's atmosphere. My brother is working for everyone's benefit. At the same time, some people also say, Gu Huayan, you are too naughty. How can you prank girls like this? It feels quite strange that Gu Huayan and Shang Zuoyan want to mess with her whenever they get together today. Put me down. Shang Zuoyan struggled for a long time to no avail, so she had to suppress her anger and call out to Gu Huayan. Goose, if you do this, please promise to stay down and not hit me, then I will let you go. Gu Huayan was squirming, and he also knew that the first thing Shang Zuoyan did when he was put down was to pull his hair and hit him. You. Shang Zuoyan's pretty face turned red with anger, she clenched her pink fists and gritted her teeth. After a long time, she closed her eyes angrily and nodded, saying, Okay, I promise you, I won't beat you, you let me down. You look like you're going to break your promise. Gu Huayan just sat there and refused to let her down, looking uneasy. Then what are you talking about? Shang Zuoyan was so angry that she wished she could just jump down and slap him regardless of her own safety. But she knew very well that whenever she did that, Gu Huayan would bump her up and make her unable to get off. So if she wants to come down, she really has to rely on Gu Huayan. You're like this, you swear, if you break your promise and hit me, you won't be able to eat desserts or snacks for the rest of your life. When she heard Gu Huayan's words, Shang Zuoyan almost lost her temper and became furious. This guy cheated her and still wanted to swear such a poisonous oath. Okay, if I break my promise and beat you, I won't be able to eat desserts or snacks for the rest of my life. Shang Zuoyan gritted her teeth and uttered this poisonous oath. Hey, okay. Gu Huayan put her down smoothly. Who knew that Shang Zuoyan's feet just touched the ground? Gu Huayan. She gritted her teeth and bared her claws as she rushed over. Hey, what's the deal? Poisonous oath. Gu Huayan was numb. He thought this oath was very poisonous, but Shang Zuoyan said bluntly. Anyway, I don't eat much desserts and snacks now, so what if I don't eat them for the rest of my life? Stop. Compared with desserts and snacks, killing Gu Huayan first is the most important thing at hand. Haha, these two. The audience and Zhang Yao who were watching all looked at the scene with a smile. Xiang Zi scratched his head and pulled Zhang Yao's clothes and said. Why does Sister Zhang Yao feel that Brother Gu deliberately teases Sister Yan Yan? In fact, not only she discovered this, but others also discovered it. Shen Yuqi and Han Xianji also looked at Zhang Yao. A somewhat half-smile expression flashed across the pretty face of the young woman Yao. She looked at Gu Huayan and Shang Zuoyan who were having a chasing battle on the beach, and shook her head slightly without saying anything. She actually admires Gu Huayan, this little boy is very detailed. The fight ended with Gu Huayan's hand being scratched by Shang Zuoyan. Even so, no one said that Shang Zuoyan was too much. Who told him to be so mean when he saw Shang Zuoyan on the seesaw? As soon as the front foot arrived home, everyone in the back foot received a notice from the program team, saying that everyone was asked to gather and go to a dance hall built next to the house of Tian Nian where the two elders lived. Everyone rushed there in a hurry. Nightlife Dance Club. Looking at the title on the small house, Gu Huayan scratched his head. They arrived at about the same time as Su Xiun, Zhen Yunbin, and others, and they hadn't entered yet. After Zhang Ma and teacher he arrived, everyone entered together. It is said to be a dance hall, but the area inside is not large, at most 1,560 square meters, and it is also divided into two areas. One is a more modern style of bar DJing, with a small stage, a small singing platform, high chairs, guitar instruments, etc. On the other side, it is more of a retro disco. The decoration is full of retro flavor, and there is even a shining light ball on the roof, emitting lights of various colors. Come on, let me tell you something. When everyone was visiting, Mother Zhang went up to Justice and attracted everyone's attention. Mother Zhang said that this dance hall is for everyone to enjoy nightlife. Because the guests in our whale village are of different ages, we have prepared dance halls for 2 age groups. Everyone was stunned when they heard this. Zheng Yunbin seemed to know how to play DJ, but he went straight to DJing. Do-do-do. Dynamic music filled the entire dance hall. Not to mention, it was quite exciting. Everyone danced to the rhythm, which created a great atmosphere. Just occasionally, Gu Huiyan noticed that Shang Zuoyan didn't seem to be involved. Instead, he was sitting silently by himself, holding a bottle of water, drinking and watching. So he went over to tease Shang Zuoyan again, grabbed her and danced with her. After dancing for a while, Mother Zhang took the initiative and said, "Tonight, we are all going to have a dance competition here, and then we will decide who gets how much money based on the ranking." When withdrawing the money, Mother Zhang specifically clicked on Gu Huiyan and asked him if he felt comfortable going to the supply store for free today at noon. No need to ask. It must be fun. Gu Huiyan nodded. Look at your worthless look. Zhang Ma looked disgusted. Ha ha. It elicited a burst of laughter. Mother Zhang went on to say that this is the only time in this show that the supply store is all free, just to let you experience this feeling. If you want to be as happy as you are today, you have to work hard to make money. Today is an opportunity. The guests can choose the dance types on both sides to compete. The winner can make a lot of money. It is worth mentioning that the retro disco has a 30% vote bonus. After all, there are many young people among the guests, so there are really few people who will choose this place. That's not fair, right? Gu Huiyan took the lead in protesting. He would definitely not choose retro disco. As a result, teacher, he laughed and said, "All rights of interpretation belong to the producer, Ms. Zhang Dan." As soon as these words came out, "Ahaha!" The audience laughed. Gu Huiyan retired in place. Then Zhang Ma said, "You can do whatever you want, as long as it fits the theme, whether it's break dancing or the hip-hop dance you did last week. Like Zheng Yunbin, although you chose the retro side, there were things you could dance in the past. They can all be used for battle." That. Everyone didn't think anything of it after hearing this. On the contrary, Gu Huiyan, who had just retired, raised his hand as if to ask a question. "What's wrong with you?" Mother Zhang looked sideways. The rest of the people also looked at Gu Huiyan. Someone on the barrage said, "Ma Zeping, teacher, I want to go to the toilet." It elicited a burst of laughter. But what they didn't expect was that Gu Huiyan's words were even more explosive. When the camera and everyone's eyes were on Gu Huiyan pointed to the bar behind them and asked while holding back a smile, "Can you jump into society?" As soon as these words came out, the whole place fell silent. Even Zheng Yunbin, who was playing disc there, didn't know how to play the disc in his hand. Everyone. They were all confused, incredulous, speechless, and disgusted, staring at Gu Huiyan. You. Gu Huiyan, you. One by one, they were all stunned and didn't know what to say. "Okay. Puff. Ahahahaha." The audience even laughed like crazy, and the barrage was furious. "As expected of you, Gu Huaqiang, how could these 3 words come out of your mouth? Ahahaha, I knew you were a good shaker. Gu Lao 6, my flowery hands are already so thirsty. The only one who is the most popular person in society is the male god Gu Huiyan. You are so disgusting. The dead memories suddenly started attacking me. Walk. If you don't understand, just ask, is it the Renaissance? Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x69. Even if you even say such nonsense as society's most popular person, then the memory of the dead is too disgusting. God knows what kind of turmoil Gu Huiyan's social shake caused. Who would have thought that this old six could shake the whole society when Zhang Ma was discussing dance types with the guests? What the hell is this? The crux of the matter is that as soon as Gu Huiyan said social shake, everyone immediately had a picture in their mind. They all think of the scene of this old man waving his hands. It's terrible, isn't it? But one thing that no one can deny is that in the context of the modernly decorated bar behind them, it doesn't seem unbelievable that Gu Huiyan can think of social shake, right? Nowadays you can still see a lot of rockers when you go outside. This is a kind of culture, haha. And in the face of Gu Huiyan's social shake-up, what did Zhang Ma do? Gu Huiyan, get out of here. Xiao Zhang, you guys take him out for me. Don't let me see him. For the first time, Zhang Ma experienced the feeling of Su Yuntang when she was in Yunnan. She really wanted to kill this guy directly. She was also really curious about how Su Yuntang could hold it back and later became good friends with Gu Huiyan. If you let her go, you will beat Gu Huiyan to death. Ahahaha. The audience laughed, went crazy with laughter, laughed to the point of death, and even laughed to death even if they got rich. It is worth mentioning that some people asked, should Gu Huiyan be given some beanie shoes, tight pants, dyed a little yellow hair, and a little will-o'-the-wisp? The spirit of the young man has made this generation of netizens understand. Come on, choose. After the laughter, we entered the selection process. Mother Zhang obliged and stood on the side of retro disco. Teacher he followed closely behind. The second elder took the lead and got a 30% vote bonus. How to send money according to how you see it? The younger brothers behind I'll definitely keep up. Chen Feng, Zheng Yunbin, and Zhang Mi were all gone. When Su Xiun saw the situation, she also went over to get a share of the pie. On the other hand, Shen Qingqing, a rebellious boy, ran to the modern dance hall opposite. It's not like there are no rebels on Gu Huiyan's side. Shen Yuqi and Han Zionji seemed to have made an appointment, and they were both seduced by Su Xiun. Not only that, they also shouted, "Come on Yan Yan." Shang Zuoyan also went over to join together. There is no reason for them to do this, because they released a relatively retro single some time ago, and there are also ready-made dances. If they want to perform, they don't need to rehearse, they can dance directly. There is also a 30% vote bonus for having a song. It would be crazy not to earn this money. Shang Zuoyan definitely wanted to go, but she turned her head and glanced at Gu Huiyan, then put her hands around her chest, pouted and said, "Gu Huiyan, if you ask me, I will stay and help you." Unexpectedly, Gu Huiyan, who has always wanted to be strong in his life, said backhand. "Then you'd better go to the other side." "You, hum." Shang Zuoyan stamped her feet angrily, snorted and really wanted to leave. "Hey, no, no, no." Gu Huiyan hurriedly coaxed her, saying that I had a song and we could work together. Only then did Shang Zuoyan give up and come back, as if she had been begged to come back by Gu Huiyan. Ultimately, the camp decides. On Gu Huiyan's side, he, Shang Zuoyan, Zhang Yao, Xiang Ziyi, and Shen Qingqing. Opposite are Zheng Yunbin, Zhang Mi, Chen Feng, Su Xiun, Han Zionji, and Shen Yuqi. It seems that the number of people is not very even, but in fact, each camp just performs 2 dances each, and it is nothing more than the number of people. Shang Zuoyan, you value sex over friends, you will have no future with them. Shen Yuqi, a short-haired little fox, rolled her eyes and told Shang Zuoyan that although there was no C-positioned Shang Zuoyan, the 3 of them could not dance to the song. Among Zheng Yunbin, Zhang Mi, and Chen Feng, Zheng Yunbin alone can survive. On the other hand, On their side, Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan may be strong, but Xiang Ziyi, Zhang Yao and Shen Qingqing are holding them back. It is indeed a bit naive for you to expect the three of them to dance better than the other party. What Shen Yuqi said to Shang Zuoyan was a bit awkward. On the one hand, she was valuing sex over friends, and on the other hand, she was having no future. She didn't blame her for thinking that she and Gu Huiyan really had no future. Quite sad. She was about to say something to refute, but Gu Huiyan spoke first. Hey, you guys haven't won yet. Have you forgotten what happened last week? Last week, Gu Huiyan successfully killed 5 members of Su Xiun's accompanying family in a 1 versus 5 match. This week, even Gu Huiyan himself is not afraid, let alone the equally powerful Shang Zuoyan? Then let's wait and see. Su Xiun pursed her lips, obviously being poked in a painful spot. It's just dancing this time, not singing, Mr. Gu. Before leaving, Zhen Yunbin provoked Gu Huiyan again with a set of small hand gestures. Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently and muttered secretly. Isn't it awkward? Others definitely didn't hear this, but because of the audience heard it clearly. The barrage was full of ha ha ha. Obviously everyone felt the same. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x20. Don't talk about this yet, what are you going to do? As the absolute backbone here, Shang Zuoyan must seek Gu Huiyan's opinion. Gu Huiyan thought for a while and said. I have a song. Let's arrange one song, and the three of them will arrange another one. As soon as these words came out, before Shang Zuoyan said anything, and before Zhang Yao and Xiang Ziyi had time to protest, Shen Qingqing came up and said. Brother Huiyan, I also want to dance with you. The reason why Xiao Ji came here was actually to dance with Gu Huiyan. Don't make trouble. As a result, Gu Huiyan didn't even look at her, waved his hand and said. You can't do it. As soon as these words came out. Shen Qingqing. I feel offended. Ah ha ha ha. The audience laughed. It is no longer a rare thing for Shen Qingqing to be weak. Otherwise, why would Shang Zuoyan always look down on her? Shang Zuoyan snickered, feeling that Gu Huiyan quite recognized his own strength. In fact, it's not that Gu Huiyan can't let Shen Qingqing come. The main reason is that she has to perform in the evening, and there are only a few hours in between. Don't worry about whether she can learn the choreography, as long as she can remember a few moves, it's pretty good. What's more, you still have to memorize the lyrics and sing the lyrics to an unfamiliar song. After a brief discussion, it was decided that Shang Zuoyan and Gu Huiyan would be in a group. It would be enough for Zhang Yao, the three of them, and Shang Zuoyan to teach them whatever they wanted. We are relying on you anyway, so come on. The young woman Yao was very understanding and gave more time to Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan. Shang Zuoyan was a competitive girl, and she didn't want to lose even if she was facing her teammates. It should be said that just because we are teammates, we don't want to lose. So when she went to arrange the dance with Gu Huiyan, even though she didn't seem to be in the best condition, she still showed more than 90% of her energy. She thought that they might not lose. On the one hand, she and Gu Huiyan were both very capable, and on the other hand, Gu Huiyan had prepared a new song for this. They are not afraid of novelty or stage performance. But when she saw the song that Gu Huiyan brought to her, the lyrics were densely packed in a large area. At that time, Shang Zuoyan's big, watery eyes stared at Gu Huiyan with a look of disbelief and speechlessness, and asked. You are the one who has been stabbed 1,000 times, what kind of song did you write? You don't think that in just these few hours, besides choreographing and practicing, I can memorize so many lyrics, do you? She thought it was a very ordinary song, even if it was Gu Huiyan's previous song, but who knew that this brother just made a new song, and it was still that. There are many different things, like a rap song. If you give it directly to Shang Zuoyan, everyone will be dumbfounded. No, these are not your words. Fortunately, Gu Huiyan explained it in time, saying that it was a rap song, most of the lyrics were his, and only a small part of the female chorus part was Shang Zuoyan's. This song was chosen just because she was thinking about it. She only needed to remember one or two choruses, and the rest were Gu Huiyan's. This way she has more time to focus on dancing. You are sensible. Shang Zuoyan then gave up and concentrated on choreographing. She will ask Gu Huiyan for his opinion during the dance. After all, it is a duet. It is worth mentioning that Gu Huiyan gave a lot of pertinent opinions. For example, there are some lyrics in the middle that are suitable for some movements that fit the lyrics, shaking the waist, etc. That kind of coquettish and romantic posture will be very explosive at the scene. Shang Zuoyan was quite satisfied with those ideas. In fact, this was not the first time that Shang Zuoyan danced with Gu Huiyan. They danced Troublemaker together once before in Yunnan, and they were not familiar with each other at that time. This old six actually slapped her butt. Shang Zuoyan's face turned red when she thought of this. She still remembered that she almost kissed Gu Huiyan. To be honest, she was looking forward to today's performance. And Gu Huiyan's song will probably be a hit at the venue. Because it's called, Dangerous Party.